Chapter 5330. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The incarnation of the demon strengthens the uniqueness of the divine body and the flesh. This kind of faculty is not available in the outside world. After entering the temple of Qishan, he has not obtained any faculty. This is the first faculty. It's just that I don't have time to think about it now. After putting away the simmer mustard, I looked at the battle in the sky in the distance. Now he has nowhere to escape. The fisherman had blocked 3 breaths, but he was already broken, breaking the demon cone, slamming on his body time and time again. The vitality core in the body shook, so this puppet can still maintain its peak combat power. The puppet that Feng Demon shot was really extraordinary. Damn it, kill it for me. Lu Yang attacked frantically, while paying attention to the teleportation array. Seeing Jian Wushuang standing desperately outside the teleportation formation, he was completely relieved, but for the sake of safety, he still didn't dare to be careless. Directly used his trump card to disintegrate the puppet fisherman with the momentum of thunder. 6 arms, grasping the fisherman's limbs and head, looked at him with grim eyes and said gloomily, "I'm going to see how strong you are." Chi chi chi. After a tearing sound, Taoist Lu Yang roared, and the fisherman was completely torn into pieces by him. Then the 6 hands were united, a dazzling light flashed, and there was no fisherman in the sky, and finally turned into ashes. Only one ancient boat was left. 5 breaths. It was almost as he expected, but it was half the fisherman's estimate. This is the difference between puppets and life. The strength of a puppet is fixed, but there are unlimited possibilities in life. Facing Luyang Taoist, Jian Wushuang was not prepared to die. Now that there are no back players, there is only one fight to the death. Besides, that terrifying existence is already very close, and he can come with a few breaths, and he must stay here today. If he really fell, it was not others who killed him, but the emperors of those temples. Jian Wushuang's anger burst into his forehead. Taoist Luyang arrived in an instant, looked at Jian Wushuang and sneered. "Why, not convinced? Going crazy? It's ridiculous." For the sake of safety, he didn't take the lead in attacking Jian Wushuang, but rushed into the teleportation array and damaged it wantonly. The teleportation formation here is only the lowest level, and the defense is average, and he can completely destroy it after several shots. Against the Taoist Lu Yang, Jian Wushuang didn't have any confidence, and he didn't have the ability to fight back, but he had complete certainty against the black-clothed emperor who stopped him. "Let's get an operation on you." The sword has no double-face color like a dead person, and it has become sallow. The emperor in black dared not resist facing the Taoist 6 sons, and could only disperse to one side. Some timid emperors had already rushed towards the temple. The formation there is more powerful, and their duty is to guard the teleportation formation. Now that the teleportation formation is destroyed, there is no need to stay, just send the matter back to the headquarters. Among the black-clothed emperors who were avoiding everywhere, there was the one who stopped him earlier. Ha! Jian Wushuang's figure disappeared into the space, and appeared in front of the black emperor in the next moment. "You, what are you going to do?" The black emperor said angrily. Taoist Luyang went crazy. They were powerless to stop. They had no choice but to leave, and now Jian Wushuang actually stopped him. Jian Wushuang had a hideous face, like an evil spirit, and said coldly, "What do you say I want?" Boom. A faint thought power spread out, and the next moment it burst. One thought of the universe. It's been a long time since I tried my best. In the 10,000 years in the demon suppression space, he was suffocated for a long time. And since he came out he didn't have a decent opponent. Now it is a very good whetstone against the Black Emperor. It's not too much to pull a backing before death. Wow! The absolute immortal formation came out with the power of thought, the most difficult enemy killer today, and his strongest battle formation. Sword Dao was upgraded to the 7th level, and Ji Dao also reached the 6th level. Using the strongest absolute immortal formation, it could burst out 720 swords. 720 strongest phantom swords are floating around. "Kill me!" Jian Wushuang roared. The Emperor in Black wanted to resist, but was unable to fight back. Surrounded by the sword formation, he had no chance at all. "Do not! You dare to kill me? I am the guardian of the temple. The Black Emperor was not reconciled. He also didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so strong that he could even kill him. How could a Taoist make a strong city like this? This scene also shocked the Taoists of the Six Sons. There have been a lot of things against the sky, such as the Taoists beheading the emperor. But usually some first-order emperors, or some wounded emperors, are killed. Now Jian Wushuang beheaded a second-order emperor, and the opponent's strength was intact. This is too strong. No wonder it caused Shadowpin's existence to expose his identity and kill all the way. Shireiqi and Tianzuan Guangmu, who were hiding in the dark, were not too surprised by this. Bai Yi is a puppet, and is not interested in this. Guangmu Tianzuan, who had lived in ancient times, had seen a lot of heaven-defying Dao monarchs. And there were even some heaven-defying monarchs, which was even more amazing than this. Moreover, most of the powerhouses in the four great secret realms are descendants of ancient times. The strengths are not uniform, and compared with the real ancient monks, they are far behind. Compared with him, he is also the sixth-order peak emperor. He is much stronger than the ancient descendants in the four great secret realms, and he can sweep across the same level. But in the ancient times, there were still a lot of those ancient Xiao stronger than him. Although the Qixin line is strong, it still cannot fully represent the ancient times. Among the emperors, the real invincible existence is still those gods and generals. The strength of the 108 messengers can only be regarded as the absolute top, and the gods represent the symbol of invincibility. Under the cosmos, God will go out of his way, and there will be nothing that cannot be solved. Each is the ultimate emperor, with strength against the sky. Although the outside world does not have a strong inheritance, the ultimate existence is a lot more. He heard Bai mention that there are thousands of ultimate Dao monarchs in the four great secret realms now, as well as in the primitive world. More than 200 ultimate existences. There are so many masters of the ultimate way. In the ancient times, countless years have accumulated, and there are only so many. Unexpectedly, the outside world now has such a strong nurturing power. What they don't know is that now the external pressure is huge. The primitive universe has to nurture some powerful existences to protect itself. As for the more than 1,000 ultimate princes, they almost cleared hundreds of nearby universes before collecting so many people. He was treated as a treasure by the true spirit, hiding on a small island in Yuanyang Lake, and was also receiving some inheritance, directly avoiding the previous trials. There are also some immortals among them, just mastering the ultimate way. It is not suitable to send to the outer hall, so they stay in the four secret realms. Guangmu Tianzuan looked at Jian Wushuang with emotion. No wonder he would get something close to the gods. His strength was so heavenly. Even in ancient times, he would be cultivated as an emperor. Chapter 53-31. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The Emperor in Black finally turned into ashes, leaving no trace of breath. Since the ultimate Kendo entered the 7th level, some of the structures in the Juxian formation gradually did not suit him, but they hadn't been almost improved yet. It seems that he will have no chance in the future. The towering demon incarnation destroyed half of Beishan City. The city lord who was sitting here had already ran to the depths of Zhangzhou with people, not daring to leak his head. I was afraid that Luyang would go crazy and would kill him too. Click. Jian Wushuang, whose physical body has reached the limit, exudes a colorful halo. Taoist of the Six Sons, I have no grievances with you. Why do I have to get to this point? Although he guessed that the identity of the Six Sons is unusual, it may be the opposition forces in the Temple of Qixin. But now there is no other way. Hope the opponent will not directly kill the killer. As long as the time is delayed, there will always be miracles. The true spirit gave him all the jade boards of the gods, and he should be valued very much. As long as he held it for a while, the true spirit might appear. The Taoist Luyang smashed some black-clothed emperors casually, and his towering body overlooked the little bit Jian Wushuang, revealing a touch of hideousness. Jian Wushuang, don't be clever. Even if the temple master comes today, he won't be able to save you. Luyang's voice was very gloomy. He is very loyal to the shadow sect, and has always had great expectations of the Shadow Sect. I hope that that day Shadow Sect defeats the temple and truly controls the 4 secret realms. From this point of view, Taoist Liu Yang didn't know enough about Qishan Temple. When Jian Wushuang heard the Lord of the Temple, he immediately thought of the 4 halls that the old man Yangjiao said. He was the territory of the Lord Zhu Yi in the primitive world. This is the site of the White Tiger Palace Lord. Taoist of 6 sons, you must not be deceived. The 4 secret realms are different from what you think. The Lord of the Temple is not the strongest of the 4 secret realms at all. There are many people who are more powerful than him. He was right. The 4 secret realms really didn't belong to the White Tiger Palace. The real controller was the true spirit. Taoist Liu Yang has been a member of the Shadow Sect since he was very weak. How could he be frightened by this and sneered? You arrogant boy. Don't think that you come from the secret realm of the Tomb of the Gods, and you feel that you have enough knowledge. I know God better than you. With that, he pointed to the sky above. From Liu Yang's point of view, the power of Shadow Sect was not something that Jian Wushuang, a Taoist monarch, could imagine. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang understood that the other party was a fool, like a trapped beast in a cage, sitting on a well and watching the sky. Not to mention strength, he knows a lot more than Taoist Liu Yang. He at least knew that this was the temple of Qishan. The outside world is the sky and the sea. Here is a birdcage. Boom. In the sky in the distance, a white-haired man was extremely fast, much faster than Guzhou. Jian Wushuang had already arrived in front of him when he sensed the opponent. Looking at the man in front of him, he couldn't help trembling. His breath was extremely terrifying. He was almost like Shan Jun. But Shan Jun was injured and suppressed at the beginning, which may not be his true strength. Gray hair. Jian Wu's eyes leaked surprise. White hair is not the key. The key is the breath, which is actually very similar to him. It is the breath of perfect flesh. Could it be that the opponent is also a supergrade flesh body? Inheritor. The White King who had just arrived, revealed greed in his eyes. The physical similarity made him instantly understand that the inheritor in front of him was actually a super-quality physical body, which was even more perfect than he had imagined. King Bai looked up to the sky and roared, making no secret of his greedy color, and laughed and said, God is helping me. Super-quality flesh, complete Tao. Once this inheritor is taken away, he will be stronger in the future than it is now. He is now relying on external forces. Although his body is perfect and his origin is comparable to the ultimate, he is ultimately limited, only 3 days. After seizing this inheritor, according to the gods, he will obtain everything from the inheritor, including the origin and the divine body, as well as the physical body. The Taoist Liu Yang who was standing on the side saw King Bai. Although he didn't know him, he knew that it was the predecessor of the Shadow Sect who had arrived. Below Liu Yang, the 14th generation disciple of Shadow Sect, has seen the predecessors. Taoist Liu Yang took away the incarnation of the demon and changed his way, kneeling down on one knee, holding his chest with one hand respectfully. King White had no interest in him. He just nodded, took out a mustard seed at will, and threw it to the other party. There are many treasures in it, but compared with Jian Wushuang, it's not much. This is also the rule set by the gods. Treasures are nothing, but Liu Yang Taoist talents are important. This is the pattern. If there is no such rule, he can kill the opponent out of his breath, save a large amount of treasure, and keep it for himself in the future. Wouldn't it be better? The gap is here. Jian Wushuang looked at all this with despair in his eyes. Looking at the other person's eyes, he couldn't die easily. This place is not suitable for long. You also follow me. The White King stopped for 2 or 3 breaths. He didn't have a long time, so he didn't dare to delay. The back road was planned long ago. And now the evacuation couldn't be better, and there was no strong man in the temple along the way. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes slightly. This time he was dead. At this moment, he was relieved, did not hate other people, but hated that he was not strong enough. He has to admit that his luck has been good enough although the energy is difficult and dangerous. He has achieved what he is today. If it really falls this time, it's nothing. He, who had reached the 5th level of mental strength, could see him better than the emperor. I fate forever. This life is enough. If there is a chance, he will not hesitate. Just when he was desperate, a faint breath rose in an instant, but it was here in an instant. Mr. Bai, you are afraid that you won't be able to take him away today. Bai Yi and Guangmu Tianzuan stepped out side by side, and there were 5 sixth-order emperors in all directions, already surrounded. The 5 black-robe emperors instantly rose up a large formation, surrounding them all. The broad-eyed Tianzuan yelled even more, his figure soaring, a pair of incomparably big eyes, illuminating the world. Bai Yi is a silver armor with a long knife in his hand, and the aura exuding from above is enough to destroy the world. After discovering that he was surrounded, Lu Yang panicked instantly. King Bai also leaked a surprised look. He didn't notice Bai Yi's ambush, which was beyond his expectation. However, after discovering that Bai Yi came only after the incarnation, the heart he was holding was also let go. A Dharmakaya, you are as stupid as Wuxia. As soon as the voice fell, the battle started. Rumble! A broad black robe flew out, and instantly swept him and the Taoist Lu Yang. There was a terrifying battle in the outside world. The White King, one man fights 7 emperors. Among them, the strongest person, Guangmu Tianzan's combat power has also reached the top, but compared with the White King, it is still weaker. The origin and the divine body are much different. The origin of the White King has been exhausted, and now it is the origin of 10,000 ways. In short, it is not his origin. Use 1 point less 1 point. Chapter 53-32. One Dao Sword Sovereign, but the 68,000 times the divine body is genuine. If he confronts Guangmu alone, he can still get away, but there is Bai Yi's law bodies beside him. Regardless of just the law bodies, the combat power is actually close to the top. The law bodies are so strong, the true bodies can be paid off. No wonder the gods told him that he could escape when he met Bai Yi's real body. And he didn't even mention whether he could fight. The remaining 5 unidentified emperors, forming a large formation, can also be comparable to the most powerful ones. There are 3 great fighters. In the Tomb of the Gods, not all of the powerful special beings are superb. After reaching the 6th rank, some of them have ordinary strength, which is stronger than their flesh and blood beings, but they are not much stronger. The other 5 emperors are okay. They just form a battle formation, which can trap him, but can't suppress him. If one-on-one, only 3 or 5 moves can be broken. King Bai's eyes flashed and his body suddenly twisted. Go straight to the battle formation formed by the 5 emperors. A bunch of idiots. Boom! King Bai blasted out with a punch, and immediately retreated from the battlefield. When he wanted to chase and kill him, the 2 of Guangmu Tianzuan and Bai Yi instantly attacked, and they had to give up. If you want to break the game, you can only solve the weakest first. He gritted his teeth and resisted the 2 of them, and was going to break the battlefield. The White King, whose divine body almost surpassed the limit of the emperor, soared to hundreds of millions of miles, covering the sky and the sun. A grasp of the void, the might of the sky. Broken. One word came out, as if the words came out and the law followed, directly breaking the battlefield, and the 5 emperors vomited blood and retreated. The goal is achieved, as long as it is defeated, and now there is no time to kill them all. Bai's eyes grew colder. This time he miscalculated, and he also looked up at the Yuan Palace. He thought he could pick up a leak or put it to the end, but he didn't expect that the other party would be so powerful, which caused him to fall into a difficult position. I couldn't suppress King Bai, but now he and Guangmu are left, and the chances of wanting to keep each other are very small. I knew that my 2 Dharmakayas came together, but now I have to waste a treasure to win him, Bai Yi said regretfully. After Guangmu heard this, his eyes leaked joy, and he hurriedly said, Bai Yi, if you have a treasure, use it. The origin of this servant is too weird, and it will change when you are late. As he said, the origin of the White King becomes stronger as he fights, but also less and less. He really wants to drag on. He is afraid that both of them will have to explain here. The opponent's combat power is among the divine envoys, and can also be ranked in the forefront. The 2 of them are not opponents yet. If Bai Yi's deity comes, he can still win the opponent, But now a Dharma body is a little stronger than Wu's Dharma body. It will not have much effect at all. It is okay to kill some native monarchs in the 4 secret realms. It's not that simple to meet these old guys. Okay. Please also ask Brother Guangmu to hold him. I need a little time. Bai Yi said in a low voice, and there was an extra ball in his hand. It was covered with a layer of frost. This is the first gate in the north, the highest eternal treasure that came up first. And it is also a one-time treasure. Once used, it is gone. At this moment, it is too late to feel distressed, this time to save Jian Wushuang. He must go to Zhu Yi to ask for a treasure to make up for himself. He didn't want Zhu Yi to have so many treasures. Facing the hundreds of millions of miles of King Bai, Guangmu Tianzhen's eyes looked at the world, and he looked at each other in anger. Rebel, you have forgotten whose courtier you are. You dare to make a mistake here. As the messenger of the gods, Guangmu Tianzhen is extremely majestic. Although his strength is a little worse than the opponent, his aura is extremely fierce. King Bai didn't want to eat him. Although he was taken aback at first, he was a little frightened. But I don't know how long it has been since the gods have fallen. He sneered and said, "It's a waste dog that doesn't want to be buried. Install. If your master has the heart, how can you be here? You are just a trash abandoned by the ancient times. And you dare to be a mad dog in front of you. When I was in ancient times, you were not born yet." A series of verbal abuse pierced into the heart and flesh of Guangmu Tianzhen, and he was angry with his flash hat and directly shot into the sky. "You are looking for death," Guangmu Tianzhen shouted angrily. The two played against each other. Only in a moment, the powerful aura spread to the entire Zhangzhou, and the 100,000 mountains trembled. Puff! Guangmu's heart was shocked, a powerful source struck, and he was actually injured. "Haha, Guangmu, can you dare to fight the divine body?" King Bai defiantly said. Just now the origin attack. He was actually at the end of the crossbow. That strand of origin was almost consumed by him. The divine body was able to last for 3 days, and the origin could not be maintained for a moment. Guangmu Tianzhen looked solemn and said coldly, "Don't say a punch, I will take your life." How arrogant. King Bai leaked a trace of disdain, and the broad-eyed Tianzhen was not afraid to flash his tongue. 68,000 times the divine body is much stronger than the special lives of the divine tomb. With his full punch, it is not easy for Guangmu to take it. Really desperately, it's really not impossible for him to kill Guangmu in 3 days. Seeing Bai Yi retreat, he knew that these two people still have a backhand. Now it is not the time to desperately, and when there is no trouble formation, Bai Yi is starting the backhand again. Now is his only chance to escape. www. Novel. Who knows what is waiting for Bai Yi? If he can't go, he is stupid. He squeezed in the void, and a powerful divine power condensed into one extreme point. This punch was like the material power of a world, bursting from one point. Eventually evolved into a world, born from the void to the void. Space cohesion. Breaking the law with force is really true. The punch of the divine body could actually shatter the origin of the wide area space, causing his figure to fall into a dark turbulence. Boom! With a punch, he shuttled through the space, directly in front of Guangmu. Faced with this punch, Guangmu Tianzhen turned his eyebrows. And this punch could not be avoided. He could only take it hard. Jian Wushuang, who was put into his sleeve robe, felt that momentum through the induction of space, and this power made his mind tremble. The outside fighting lasted for less than a few breaths, but every time he fought, the space he was in could tremble, and even showed signs of breaking. Standing in the dark corner, the Taoist Luyang was also surprised by the fighting outside. He was stronger than Jian Wushuang, and felt the more obvious. Sixth Order Emperor? Is it really that strong? Why is it a little different from what he saw? He has seen a scene where the sect master of the Heavenly Demon Gate takes action, and becomes an 8-armed heavenly demon, fighting a 6th Order Emperor. That's it. How can there be such a shocking shattered space origin? This is what the Emperor can do. Is it? He didn't even cultivate in the space to understand that since he stepped into the origin of the space, his realm has stagnated, and he can only be improved by accumulation of treasures. Otherwise he would have no hope of sixth order in his life. As the messenger of the gods, how could Guangmu Tianzuan not have some special skills? Facing that punch, the cyan armor gathered on his body, gathered his whole Buddha's supernatural power, and hit the strongest palm of his life, directly blasted out, head-on with King Bai. Chapter 53-33. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The two meet. It's like a world being flattened by a palm, but a flat world still has the same material power. Boom! The body of Guangmu Tianzuan was instantly pushed back, and the divine body also began to drop suddenly at this moment, which had been reduced to 30,000 times. His divine body had been transformed to a limit of 50,000 times. The enchantment White King broke his divine body with a single punch, directly injuring him seriously. Too strong. It is already comparable to the gods of the year. You must know that the gods and generals of that year can be said to be the invincible existence among the emperors, and they are the strongest group of emperors in their long river of time and space. That is the ultimate emperor, and not many have reached that level in the ultimate way. How could this King White become so strong? If he remembers correctly, these people were not willing to take refuge in the temple of Qishan at the beginning, and they were all drained of their origins, leaving only the divine body thrown into the mezzanine of the four great secret realms. It's not surprising that they can come out. After all, the four great mysteries have been running through for so many years. It is not surprising that these old guys come out, but it is a bit outrageous to have such a strong strength. After the first blow was effective, King White instantly turned around and turned into 3,000 streamers, scattered around, unexpectedly trying to escape. But when he was just dispersed, snow fluttered in the sky. A little snow falls. This scene reminded him of the Lord of Extreme Cold, an extremely powerful master of the universe. This is the realm of fame of that cold master. Wherever you are, everything turns into frost. 3,000 streamers had just dispersed and were directly frozen in the air. No matter how King Bai moved, he couldn't break free. Bai said with a relaxed look and smiled lightly, "You can't escape. In this extremely cold field, you are a frozen dead fish." The method of the Lord of the Universe, no matter how strong the Emperor is, it can't be broken. If there is a gap between the Taoist and the Emperor, then the Emperor and the Lord of the Universe are the gap between the sky and the earth. If you want to step up, it is unwilling to do it. Lord against the heavens of the reverse universe. But if the Emperor wants to defend against the heavens, the ones against the heavens are the heavens in the long river of time and space. It's not one level at all. It is hundreds of millions of times more difficult than the Taoist guard against the sky. In ancient times, throughout history, there was also an emperor who could reverse the long river of time and space. That emperor was brilliant and talented. Countless people thought that another starry sky master was born, but unfortunately the final death of his life was condensed on the emperor's fate. She was the one who once pierced Qiu Huangqing with a single sword, and did not even look at great Emperor Juyin. The real emperor. Among the emperors, no one is his one-sword enemy, and the 18 gods and generals have to stay behind. The only one, the emperor who obtained the name of God in the temple of Qishan. The body of the emperor is comparable to the divine Lord. Such existence is the luck of an era, allowing countless people to see this dazzling character. A character like the White King, in the hands of that existence, can't do a trick, let alone break through these realms. Brother Guangmu, I have already told Wuxia about this place. He will be there soon, so we can just wait here. Bai smiled. This treasure must not be wasted. When Wuxia came, he had to humiliate the opponent severely. Even his own people looked down on him. And Zhu Yi, she will have to owe herself a favor from now on. Jian Wushuang's talent is good, and he will become an emperor in the future. He is a figure who has the hope to set foot on the ranks of the top, and he can't just give it up. When Guangmu Tianzuan heard Wuxia coming, his face sank. But on second thoughts, he didn't follow Qishan into the tomb of the gods. How could he be qualified to taunt Wuxia? Thinking of this place, his complexion also eased, and he nodded in agreement. I have arrived at Wuxia in Liuzhou, wandering around, and I can't even find the breath of King Bai, let alone where I went to find it. The same is true for the strong men who have entered Liuzhou's palace of the elders, and there is no way to start. In Beishan City, Wu's eyes were cold after receiving the call. It was Bai Yi who sent him the information. It would be best if Jian Wushuang was fine. Once there was an accident, Zhenling would not let him go. He can now be regarded as understanding the temper of the true spirit. And everything is easy to say along with the true spirit, and there will be no shortage of status, identity and treasures. Anyone who violates a little bit, or fails to do things to his satisfaction, will definitely be tortured by the real spirit wearing small shoes and changing the law. After receiving Bai Yi's summons, he directly told the other strong men in the Yuan Elder Palace, and all flew towards Beishan City in Zhangzhou. On the way, by the way, the sheep was rescued from under a big mountain. When these people went to Beishan City together, in the depths of the heavens with their faces tumbling, a giant dragon surged and arrived at Beishan City in an instant. The taste on this inheritor is very similar to that of that person. It is a practitioner of the primitive universe, but unfortunately it is not the one predicted. The dragon had only one eye, opened it and turned it around, and then closed it again. His deity couldn't get out at all. He could only reveal a trace of strength, and left here to go to Beishan City above. This trace of power is different from the origin of the Temple of Discord, and even the origin of the original universe. It seems like it shouldn't belong to the power here. The power like a dragon rushed out from the ground, and entered the extremely cold domain. Even the domain could not stop it, but entered the body of King White in an instant. Listen, this trace of power can only last for a quarter of an hour. Go to the depths of Zhangzhou as planned, and then go all the way north, across the ancient city, to the extremely cold place, where someone will pick you up. King White was overjoyed when he heard these words. I thought I was going to explain here today, but I didn't expect the gods to give him a trace of true power. As soon as the voice fell, he felt the power, and it poured into his body in an instant. This power, the frozen 3,000 streamers reunited in an instant. This scene surprised Bai. How is this possible? This is an extremely cold domain. Even if the demon masters come over, they may not be able to escape so easily. Rewind. Bai Yi yelled to Guangmu Tianzuan after reacting. The recondensed King White, with a rising aura, the source of the heaven and earth that did not belong to this side, made the heavens begin to tremble. This breath has surpassed the emperor. A quarter of an hour. It was enough. Seeing the two retreat, King White didn't have time to entangle with them, so he chose to leave directly. The speed this time has surpassed the limit of space. It is better to say that it is flying than teleportation. Teleport in the Temple of Qishan. Teleportation is not difficult. Daojun can do it. But it is in the outside world, in the primitive universe. In the Temple of Qishan, I am afraid that no one except the true spirit can teleport, and it is because of the treasure that Zhui shuttles at will. King White can teleport and easily break through the extreme cold field, which also shows that his strength has undergone a qualitative change. I am afraid that at that moment, he has reached the level of being comparable to the Lord of the Universe. Chapter 53-34. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign Beishan City. The present Beishan City is more of a ruin than a city. Moreover, it was still frozen ruins, and some emperors, Taoists, and even the weak emperors who had not had time to retreat were all fixed here. For the powerful emperor, this is a ruin, but for those Taoists, it will be an ancient ruin in the future. The breath surging above is so precious, and the treasures buried underground are even more crazy. It's just that these are things to say. There will be no Beishan City and Baima Zhangzhou in the future, and there will be no Guangmu Tianzuan. After this battle, Guangmu prepared to settle in the White Tiger Palace and thoroughly investigate the rebellion. The deposition of countless epochs has caused many people to forget his name. It is time to come out again. For countless years he has not taken that step. Maybe if you go out, you will be able to make a breakthrough. Although in the Temple of Qishan, there is no strong inheritance for him to practice, but there are still changes in his mood. Brother Guangmu, With your participation in the White Tiger Palace, it must be great again. Bai leaked joy. This time, let King Bai run away. Although he was a little unwilling, he was able to get Guangmu out of the mountains, which was also a big receipt, which was not in vain. It would be better if you didn't use that treasure. Guangmu leaked a trace of shame, and said in a deep voice, Hallmaster Bai, I disappointed you this time, and failed to take down the servant. I wanted to use his head as the first gift to the White Tiger Hall. He did think so at the beginning, but he did not expect that the current 4 secret realms are simply hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Some old immortal things have all run out. He is a super strong man in the first battle of his comeback. This is actually the case. Unbearable, it's a bit embarrassing. Bai also said that the core layer of the current White Tiger Palace is already a rising emperor. He is a veteran strong, and he is a bit embarrassing in front of the younger generation without any strength when he comes back. Glancing at the black robe emperors, their expressions changed. Wait, go back first. This time the matter must not be spread. Bai's expression changed slightly, and his voice was majestic. Several black robe emperors in the distance immediately took their orders and bowed back. The teleportation array was destroyed, and could only go to other big states. Bai looked at Guangmu, and when he was about to speak, he noticed a spot of light flashing in the distant sky, and then it surged in with the momentum of thunder. The person here is Wuxia's deity. After regaining his strength, his combat power did not lose to the main hall masters. Now he is sitting in the palace of the elders, faintly with the grace of a superior, looking at Bai for a moment without the respect he had before. What about people? Guangmu used to be the messenger of the gods, but his relationship with Wuxia was so. At the beginning, his status was not inferior to these named disciples. Seeing the other party's attitude of inquiring about crimes, he immediately snorted. Wuxia, pay attention to your words. This is to help Brother Bai, but not for you. This is not Shuaigua to Bai, but it is true. It can't be said that he and Bai are rubbish. Let people run away. No matter what the excuse is, I can't say that. Unless the other party is the master of the universe. Wuxia's facial muscles were shaking, and he knew that he was too arrogant. He calmed down his tone and said, Brother Guangmu, it's also a great pleasure for you to go out of the mountain. If it's something else, I will definitely not pursue it. Just this time, Master True Spirit gave an order to save Jian Wushuang's life. Although the tone has become polite, the threat of words is still there. Bai doesn't eat this set. What he hates most now is that others use the real spirit to crush him, and immediately shouted, it is the real spirit's order for you, not us. Although the person escaped from both of them, he couldn't throw the pot to them both. Is Wuxia okay? Let a god-casting envoy follow Jian Wushuang. What strength is he? Not to mention the absolute top. Just say that a 6th-order emperor can easily kill Jian Wushuang's life. It's not good to protect yourself, so we'll blame them. The lord of his heavenly hall has fallen. What is a Jian Wushuang? It is true that every ultimate way can reach the top. If this is the case, simply offer up those ultimate princes, and treat them as ancestors. Hall Master Bai, you just said that. Although Lord True Spirit assigned the Northern Territory to the Senate Palace, don't forget who you are fighting for. At this point, Wuxia also there was a lot of energy, and he said loudly, Your surname is Bai in the White Tiger Palace. No one can stop a superb emperor. Anger rose on both sides. The talk was inconsistent, and Bai could also see that Wuxia really had no guts to take the pot, and the two sides could only fight one more time. Boom! Wuxia came from the deity, with ample confidence in his heart. Today there was a big battle, and the lifelike spirit appeared. Otherwise, he has no face to look for the true spirit. Guangmu had listened to the previous words, but he couldn't help seeing Wuxia doing this. He had a burst of personality. Do you dare to do it? Wuxia looked savagely, swallowing with one hand, and immediately gave a wide-eyed breath. In fact, I didn't do anything, it was just a pure momentum deterrence, but at this time, it is no longer justified not to fight. This is not a fuss, but has been planned for a long time. Guangmu Tianzuan was persuaded by Bai with great difficulty, couldn't watch it, and he also joined the battle group at the moment. Some emperors who hadn't escaped found out that there was another big battle behind them, and they were so frightened that their speed increased again, and they dared not look back. In the void, a figure faintly appeared, and the true spirit had arrived. Looking at the ruins, going back in time, after understanding what happened, he left without even looking at them. Wu's combat power was much stronger than that of King Bai. If he was really dead, Bai's Dharmakaya and Guangmu would not be opponents at all. Regardless of the dynamics, in fact, both sides have left behind. This battle is for the real spirit to see. The true spirit is lazy to look. External pressure, internal turbulence. His true spirit is really not easy. He immediately hides his figure, leaving only a trace of breath. Let Bai and the others understand that they have been here by themselves. Jian Wushuang is indeed very important, and since discovering the reason, he has treated him specially. Even the personal things of the gods were given to the other party. It ends like this now. Time and fate. There is nothing to say, and the timeline cannot be checked. It is also a curse to stay around and it will fall. He has done enough. The existence in the starry sky should not hold him accountable. And Jian Wushuang may not have any connection with the other party. Maybe he thinks too much. But after losing an ultimate Taoist, he would never make this kind of mistake again. Although the ultimate harmony is difficult, it can't hold up a lot of people. More than 1,000 ultimate existence. As long as I Ching Hadao succeeds, there are hundreds of ultimate emperors. As long as one of these people achieves the pinnacle and steps into the Lord of the Universe, he can solve the crisis of the original universe, destroy that god, and understand the cause and effect left behind. Chapter 5335. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. He can take the Temple of Qishan, re-enter the long river of time and space, and far shield other time and space. Going to some stable time and space, where there is a stronger existence, he does not believe that the predecessor's prediction can really dry up the time and space. If it didn't work, he launched the Temple of Qishan to investigate the cause and effect of the senior. Although that senior is very powerful, but Yu Xianyi had a deep cause and effect. He gave Xianyi a blood sacrifice, looking for the position of the senior. Wherever he went, the Temple of Qishan followed. See, who will die first then? This prophecy has been pressing in his heart. The reason why the Temple of Qishan has swept the world is to be great again and restore the line of Qishan. As a result, the senior told them that once the Temple of Qishan was reopened, a great existence in the future would surely be invited, and then the entire time and space would be withered, and that existence would reach the top, exhausting the entire time and space. When the time comes, it will be all over, and the whole line of the gods will be finished. No matter how strong the existence is, what's the use? Future. Zhenling shook his head. Too far. Seize the day. Back in the Sea of Origin, there is still one person in the Heart Sea Hall. It is the only ultimate emperor Shang, in the primitive universe breakthrough. Zhenling said that the temperature was mild, and the gratification appeared in Shang Shi's eyes. It's too bad, so what can I do? At the beginning, Emperor Julian was also against the sky. What happened later? I didn't break through, I ended up not useful at all. Shang, the ultimate emperor, who is moving forward steadily, and is extremely low-key, is the real future. Once you step into the Lord of the Universe, that is the most powerful existence. Daojun is against the sky, and the Emperor is against the sky. Do you really think that you can go against the sky? At best, kill the weak Emperor. Seeing the return of the true spirit, Shang hurriedly got up, with a smile on his face, and answered calmly, just nodded. There is no such thing as the joy of ordinary people after a breakthrough. Your background is very deep. It won't take long for you to reach the peak. It is only a matter of time before you can cultivate the origin of space to perfection. What you need to do now is the secret method of the universe. This is the only way out. The line of Shang is different from that of the gods, but the character and cultivation is most similar to that of the gods. Among those Taoists, he still couldn't see much, but as long as there were no accidents in the future, Shang would surely shine forever. The two were seated again. Business breakthrough. achievement of 6th Order Emperor. There is a series of cultivation Dongtian, waiting for him behind. The ultimate emperor's training is not comparable to Daojun. In the end, the true spirit sent Shang away, and went to the tomb of one of the 4 secret realms. The 5 inheritances left by Qishan have now opened the first one. There are 2 more. Hui Qing, who is most valued by the true spirit, can occupy one without accident, and Jian Wushuang can also occupy the next without falling. In the primitive world, there are still a few candidates, and there is hope to occupy one of them. He sees that the level of people is very high, whether it is the Shang of the ultimate emperor or the Hui Qing of the Taoist. There is an obvious similarity, that is stability. The background is profound, and once you encounter a great opportunity, it will be transformed. Jian Wushuang is the opposite. The background is uneven. Personality is also much worse, unstable. Almost fell a few times, and this time was looted by those old guys. At the Taoist level, there may be some luck, but after arriving at the emperor, luck is only a means. The stronger the emperor, the deeper the luck. The emperor was the beginning of the strong, and the crisis at that time was much more desperate than the Taoist. Zhenling sighed. He is a true spirit. There is no law body to speak of. He must always guard the true core origin of the Temple of Qi. These little guys, there can be no more accidents. The true spirit's figure flashed, looking at the 4 superimposed secret realms in the void in the Qishan temple. From the robe, raised his arm, pointed it out, and a dazzling light at the fingertips rushed into the 4 secret realms. The dragon surging in the gap between the 4 great secret realms uttered a terrifying roar. This time, the lesson was enough to let the other party be honest for a while. But this is not enough. His minions are still hidden in the 4 great secret realm. He directly sent a message to the Palace of the Elders, and went to the primordial realm to find the main guardians of Zhu Yidian to suppress the heaven. Zhu Yi of primordial realm had nothing to do with this. Although he was blackmailed from a mountain of magic sounds, it was reasonable for the stability of the 4 secret realms to produce some treasures. On Yuanyang Lake in the center of the heavens, 4 streams of light descended from the sky, falling into the lake and gradually forming 1,000 waves of water. In addition to these 4 streams of light, a wall of gas rose up on the border of Yuanyang Lake at this time. In the past, the formation was established by the strong in the Elder's Palace, but now this Qi wall was given to them by Zhu Yi. The unbreakable formation of the most powerful completely laid a solid foundation for the Senate Palace. At this time, the many strong men who returned to the Yuan Palace were taken aback by this scene. I thought I was going to ask them about their sins, but I didn't expect to get so many benefits instead. The others were nothing, and didn't know the importance of Jian Wushuang. Wu's heart was tight. The less true spirit didn't come out to humiliate him, the more uneasy he was, and he always felt that true spirit was waiting for an opportunity to settle accounts with him. Blame those 2 wastes. Wu's cursed secretly from the bottom of his heart after realizing that the true spirit had come. They stopped their hands, each mocked each other, and eventually even sat in the same teleportation formation. Honestly returned to their respective chassis. The Northern Territory was also completely in their hands. In addition to recalling the powerhouses from various temples, Bai Yi also demolished the teleportation array, and they destroyed the Yuan Palace if they could not buy enough treasures. This made the popularity of the Senate Palace half dead. In the end, only a contract can be signed, and the benefits of the teleportation array will be distributed to the White Tiger Palace 30%. At this time, the interior of the Senate Palace was very united, not only from the pressure from the White Tiger Palace, but also from the opportunity of this aftermath. I have the highest seniority here, and I will host today's conference. A veteran green cow, dressed in a Tai Chi picture, looked majestic. Thousands of strong people in the hall nodded one after another. Even Wu's doesn't make any sense. He has a special status and strong strength, but he hasn't arrogantly forgotten the beginning. Outside the Temple of Qishan, I can't get in or go away, like a bereaved dog. Now it is hard to find a place to stay. It is the time to do something, and the former arrogance will naturally be erased. Okay, In that case, let's start. This meeting is to carve up the northern border. Of course, being a strong person is to save face, which cannot be said so obvious. The prestigious election. Dear elders, above the high seat, read out the door rules once set by the gods. Then there is the selection column. In addition to the name, the Yuan Lao Palace must have its own position. After this point was put forward, it was immediately opposed by the veterans of the name A, but couldn't hold back the public opinion, and finally made a slight concession. And the final position was decided after a few parties talked. The veterans of the name A have all obtained high-level rights and interests. Chapter 5336. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The veterans of other names either hold important positions in the palace, or are assigned to some wealthy states in the north. The entire northern border is so big, and there are so many treasures. They are only a few thousand people. Even the weakest and the youngest, they can be assigned to Liuzhou's affluent areas and become powerful. The status of the Senate Palace is not lost to the temple. After they took office, their status in the local area was very high. Although most of them were fifth-order emperors, they were powerful. Almost crushed the same level, with noble status, basically left sideways in the north. The Palace of the Elders, the head of the Law Enforcement Hall, is the responsibility of His Royal Highness Wuxia. Congratulations! For a time, Wuxia was in the limelight and raised his glass high. The Senate Palace is divided into 6 halls, and the Law Enforcement Hall has the highest status. It can patrol any place in the entire northern border, and it is also the best position. Wuxia pressed his hand, and first bowed slightly to pay respect to the senior veterans above, and then looked at the senior veterans below, and said with a smile, "Thanks to the love of all the seniors, I Wuxia will serve as the head of the Law Enforcement Hall later. I will do my best for the gang." After some one-sidedness, he then boasted, "Northern Realm, that is just a starting point. In the future, our world will not only be a northern realm, but the entire heaven realm, and even the 4 secret realms." Okay, the green cow above said, very happy. The veterans in the hall were also full of joy. He originally thought that Wuxia hadn't forgotten his former identity. Now it seems that he is much more honest, and will not rely on his strength to overwhelm people. Such people will not be simple in the future, and they have to be attracted well. After the scene subsided, Qingnio Lao Dao spoke again. Today, the entire Yuan Lao Palace still has the last place. He pointed to the throne behind him. This is the highest place of the Senate Palace, and the throne behind it is naturally the highest place. The pinnacle of power. The peak of power in the north, the peak of power in the Palace of the Elders. When talking about this, everyone's faces became quiet. They were not qualified to sit in this position, but a few of the type veterans above were qualified. Among the more than a dozen Tier 6 veterans, in addition to Qing Niu, there are 2 more qualified. Emperor Lu Hua, the Sword of Changfeng. These 2 strengths are close to the top, and they are the 4th-ranked figures in the A font. Being old-fashioned with Qing Niu is just a little bit worse. Qing Niu Lao Dao is grade a 3rd, and the 2 of them are grade a 4th. As for the latter, the qualifications and strength are not enough. For example, the 3 eyes of the sheep, of God casting God is Jiaoliu, and he was assigned to the Supreme Hall to become a deputy hall master, but the hall master did not move to refine it. This makes Yang Sanmu very upset, but the opponent is a 6th-order emperor, and his seniority ranks above him, plus the defeat of the guard Jian Wushuang this time, he can't help it. It was because Wuxia was able to get a deputy hall master because of his resistance. Wuxia also had a great responsibility for failing to protect Jian Wushuang. It was he halfway through the old horned man to find Broly, but he didn't find him, and he lost Jian Wushuang. The old man with horns sat in the corner of the uppermost corner, with a dead heart. At the beginning, he also agreed with Jian Wushuang to help him refine the origin of the beast and magic weapon. "Little guy, I hope you survive." The old man with horns raised his head and took a sip of boring wine, feeling melancholy. He was not qualified or interested in the competition at the top. Emperor Lu Hua, the Sword of Changfeng, and the Green Cow. The three most qualified candidates stand side by side. Qing Niu Lao Dao stood in the middle. His face was calm on the surface, but he was very confident in his heart. Everyone listened to me. Emperor Lu Hua took the lead to speak, breaking the silence. He is elegant and has a very friendly tone. Turned his head to look at the position behind him, then looked at everyone, and said with a faint smile, "This position is good." When he was speaking, his eyes were full of yearning, but he knew that it would be too costly to want to sit in this position. Turning around again, Emperor Lu Hua looked at everyone, and said a word that shocked everyone's jaw. "Lu is very talented, and I am not qualified to be alone in this position." This surprised everyone. Wuxia also leaked his doubts. He and Emperor Lu Hua were brothers of life and death in ancient times, and had a fateful friendship. If Lu Hua were to fight for that position, he would definitely assist him, and he had already begun to win over everyone secretly, ready to support Emperor Lu Hua. Suddenly no more disputes now. Many people are surprised. The only thing that is not surprising is that Qing Niu is old-fashioned, and all of this is planned by him behind his back. Now there are two people left. The sword Changfeng has a fiery temper, and he is not as refined as Emperor Lu Hua. Qing Niu also knew the other party's temper, and made a gesture of asking. Changfeng sword god stepped forward, his aura leaked, his face was grim, and his voice was low and said, "I want list them all, Qing Niu, let's start. Election, it is natural to vote. Now that Lu Hua withdraws, the two of them will be left and vote directly." Lu Hua stepped back and began to send a message to Wuxia. Changfeng. Wuxia, who was sitting in the middle, quickly understood this. Qing Niu had confidence in his heart, but he didn't want to make things too embarrassing. When voting, Yu read the book www.akanshu.com, and he sent a message to the two next to him, and made some promises, but only Lu Hua agreed. Changfeng sword god does not eat this set. Brother Qing Niu, the three positions are not necessarily bad, but advantageous. Emperor Lu Hua whispered quietly, but on the other side he was tinkering with the sword Changfeng, letting him fight to the end. The two joined forces to fight the green cow, one with a red face, and the other with a white face. What they want is not one position, but two positions. Who stipulated that there is only one palace master in the Yuanlao Palace, and 4 palace masters in the 4 halls. Nowadays, the high position of the capable is popular. Since they are all capable, they should sit together. Qing Niu Lao Dao always smiled, but he cursed secretly in his heart. Lu Hua's withdrawal was to join Changfeng to pit him, but he couldn't help it. Changfeng's fierce temper was impossible to talk about. Voting ends soon. After the announcement, the two had the same number of votes. Just so few people, the number of votes is easy to manipulate. Changfeng sword god cannot win. If Lu Hua is defeated, Qing Niu cannot win. Both Changfeng and Lu Hua will lose. Only equality is a big win. It seems that the two are fighting, but the chess player behind it is Emperor Lu Hua. Lost. Qing Niu's complexion did not change, but he sighed in his heart. This time I lost myself and face. At this moment, Lu Hua slowly stepped forward and said loudly, "I will be a notary public. Since it's flat, it's better for the two to take this position together." As soon as this remark came out, it was deposited for a while, and then supported together. If they are all seated, then no one loses, they are all winners, and there is no need to worry about which side to support. The defeat will be made difficult for later. Emperor Lu Hua turned his head and smiled at Qing Niu Lao Dao, then glanced at Changfeng sword god. "Indicate that it's time to make a statement," the old man Qing Niu said secretly. "Lu Hua, you are not afraid that I will kick you aside if I sit in this position?" Chapter 5337. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. What he said is reasonable. When the time comes, the two will each hold half and kick him aside. It is really possible. However, Lu Hua had already planned in his heart. He had said to Changfeng tactfully, once he didn't support him, Changfeng would not be able to fight the blue bull. As for Qing Niu Lao Dao, although he has one half of it, what he wants is the complete Senate palace. From now on, true spirit will hold them to a high position. The temptation of the Senate Palace is too great. When Lu Hua and Changfeng join forces, he has only one way to win. That is to win Lu Hua. As for Changfeng, he couldn't win it, and he couldn't win it. Brother Qingniu, everything is for the Senate Palace, I am fine. Hearing this sentence, Qingniu compromised. Next, he and Changfeng announced at the same time that the Senator Palace had set up 3 palace masters, regardless of front and back. Qingniu, Chafeng, and Lu Hua are in charge of the Palace of the Elders. The cheers in the palace formed a sharp contrast with the emperors outside. The emperors of the primitive universe have been still on an island ever since they arrived at the Senate Palace. Now that the interior is stable, Wuxia personally arranges these people. Among the more than 10,000 emperors, except for a few third-order and fourth-order emperors who were sent to the Tomb of the Gods, the others were all scattered and assigned to the strong men of the Yuanlao Palace, and went to the northern border to sit in various big states. The emperor who was selected went to the Tomb Mountain in the secret realm of the Tomb of the Gods. These people are worth training. Among them are Zhenwiang and Tongtian Buddha, as well as some third-order emperors of immeasurable Buddha. The leaders of the major peak strengths naturally went together. Those who go with these people are the ultimate Taoists. When these people went to the Tomb Mountain, the trial of the primitive world also ushered in the final link. Primitive world. The original star of Jiajiao Beicheng. Today, only Huiqing is left on the wall. Now the only complete city wall is Huiqing and Wanqing. Wanqing broke through again, completely stabilized the origin of Wandao, and its strength jumped again. But Huiqing has undergone a transformation. Reincarnation is utterly absent. Every time the source rises one level, there is a reincarnation. Today's Huiqing is no longer as simple as the emperor. Jian Wushuang's disappearance did not arouse too many people's attention, but Huiqing, who was most familiar with Jian Wushuang in the entire primordial realm, naturally put it in his heart. It was learned from Qiu Huang that Jian Wushuang was likely to fall, and for a while, he had mixed feelings in his heart. Brother Wushuang, seeing the black mist outside the city wall approaching, Huiqing's breath remained motionless, stepped out one step, and muttered to the sky, "You can't finish the road, I'll go for you." Boom. As soon as the voice fell, the magic circle above his head suddenly exploded. The silver long stick is invincible across the battlefield. The black mist finally condensed into a towering demon, with 9 stars on the brows. This is the devouring demon comparable to the second-order emperor. But Huiqing's burst of strength was no weaker than the opponent. His long stick was like a rainbow, and his aura was indelible. Another city wall burst out with dazzling light. After all, Wang Xing's strength was still a little bit weaker, although there were back and forth with the Demon King, but the breath was weak. However, this original star has exceeded the budget of the Vermilion Bird Palace. Many trialers on primordial stars have already begun to evacuate, because no one has reached the last wave. The first 9 waves are considered screenings. The next 10 times are real trials, allowing the trialists to continuously break through. Each wave can make the trial have a significant improvement, and Daojun has half the battle power of the Emperor after passing the first 3 waves. The 6th wave will be comparable to the Emperor, and the 7th wave will have the power to kill the Emperor. The 8th wave is 1 battle 3, fight with 3 monarch-level devourers. The last wave is the second-order Emperor who is against the sky. Let a Dian immortal go to kill the second-order Emperor. Moreover, this second-tier Emperor is not ordinary, much stronger than the native emperors of the 4 great secret realms, and is already regarded as the top emperor in the second tier. In the primordial realm, half of the 180 primitive stars are migrating. For each primordial star, only 100 people were really picked, and all of them were Taoists. The other half are in trials, and these primordial stars that are still in trials are even stronger. One of them, Dao Monarch Juyan, who still has some friendship with Jian Wushuang, is also trying out at this time. He and Wanqing have similar opportunities, and they are all exchanged for imitation eternal treasures. Strength has been promoted. Even the ultimate Taoist was defeated, he still insisted. The Vermilion Bird Hall had rarely appeared outside the original star, and Zhu Yi personally guarded it. Many primordial stars have been moved to the treasure house. Don't look at the dead silence above. The inside is a real treasure. A primordial star is more precious than the eternal treasure. Looking at the things above, you can see that on the geoprimitive star. That feather is the trophy of that primitive star. The owner of that feather is an incredible special being. The divine body has reached its true limit, and its body has expanded to the size of a world. In the end, it fell under the original stars. Primitive stars, in fact, have 3,600 stars, which are the core of a large array. Each one is more precious than the eternal treasure. The array of 3,600 primitive stars is much stronger and imaginable. Anyway, even that powerful special life has fallen here. Hall Master, His Highness Wuxia sent a message over there, saying that he was taking the emperor to the Tomb Mountain. Should we wait for us and go together? Zhu Qi cautiously spread the word beside. When Shan Jun was in prison, she also went to beg for mercy, but this time it was an order from the real spirit. Zhu Yi had no choice but to slow down first, and then mention it later. Now that Shan Jun has just entered, it would be difficult for her to intercede because of Zhu Qi. With the character of the true spirit, in fact, Shan Jun himself would just bow his head. But Wuxia is not the same. Bow his head. Everything is easy to say. Now the four secret realms are mixed. Now that she is asked to intercede, the true spirit must kill her. Last time, I took away a magic mountain and sent Shan Jun to the second prison. I am afraid that all of this was calculated by the real spirit, waiting for her to intercede, and then slaughter her once. This is why she gave so many benefits to the palace of the elders in vain, all for the real spirit to see. Zhu Yi suddenly felt a headache, waved his hand and said, "Tell Wuxia don't have to wait. Let the emperor go in first." Yes. After Zhu Qi answered respectfully, she disappeared. There are already tens of thousands of people sitting in the Vermilion Bird Palace today, all of whom are at the level of Taoist monarch. The other half did not come out. There were almost 20,000 in total. Among them, there are more than 200 ultimate beings, and almost only 1 out of 100 is a practitioner of the ultimate path. This is almost the same as the previous budget. You can't just recruit the ultimate existence. That would be too wasteful. After these people are sent away, Xuanwu Temple will send hundreds of millions of practitioners to come. The number of Yanxian can be hundreds of millions of times more than Dianxian. After screening in the Xuanwu Hall, and helping them to break through, they will be sent to the Vermilion Bird Hall. After screening in the Vermilion Bird Hall, they will be sent to the 4 secret realms of the White Tiger Hall. Chapter 5338. After the trial of, the Emperor will be sent to the Azure Dragon Palace after screening. It's just that now in the Azure Dragon Palace, if you don't fight outside, it's useless to send it over. So you have got 4 secret realms. This is a closed loop. Is also the rule set by the of the gods. In this way, the strong can be continuously selected, and the glory of the gods can be recondensed. Zhu-san, you go to the Xuanwu Hall to pick up people. And Zhu-si, you go to the treasure house to choose a flying treasure, and take them to the tomb of the gods. Be sure to hand it over to the people in the White Tiger Hall safely. She also heard about Jian Wushuang. This is not a small loss, but also a warning. The 4 secret realms are no longer the 4 secret realms they used to be. Now the inside is rotten, and there is still a force in private, who wants to overthrow the Temple of Qixin. Inheritors are the future powerhouses of Qixin Temple, so there must be no accidents. The last time it was Jian Wushuang alone, it was because Jian Wushuang, an inheritor, went to the 4 secret realms. This time there are 20,000 people. For those people, even a billion-dollar prince is no different from a single one, and can die at hand. To send these inheritors, it is natural to use some powerful treasures. The ultimate eternal treasure of the palace category is a must. Like the Tower of Eternity, the 4th Order Emperor can resist the attack of the 5th Order Emperor when entering. Supreme Eternal Treasure, it is able to put an end to the attack of the Peak Powerhouse. As for why she went to deliver it in person, it was because she had more important things. She wants to develop a screening venue for the next group of people. This time it was a primordial star, so next time it might be an ancient continent or a dead starry sky. Is possible. In the hall at this time, inheritors are constantly coming, and those who can come here are all inheritors. The ones that have not come either have fallen or have been assembled to other places, ready to send them all out. The core of the primitive world. On a floating continent, there are millions of testers here. Most of them have retired after the 9th wave. Although they have a lot of strength, they are still the ultimate eternal fairy, but they are not qualified to become inheritors. Your trial is over. Later, you will all be teleported out of the Temple of Forbidding. Those who come there will go back there. The cold voice was like pouring them a basin of cold water. Am not reconciled, I already have a half-step master. Give me another chance. Someone said unwillingly. Some other strong players couldn't help but speak. But that voice didn't respond to them at all. I knew it, I should have been fighting. Am almost a little bit. The 11th wave is too difficult. Some are upset, and some are plain. Some Dian Immortals were not only top-level combat power when they came in, but now they have become the ultimate powerhouse. And they have also obtained many treasures, and even gathered all the innate treasures, and exchanged their unique skills. After going out, they may not be better than others. Weak. The most important thing is the Temple of Qishan, which gave them a sense of harmony, which is the same as the emperors of Desiyu got. Their strength is not weak anymore, especially those who are strong at the 2nd rank origin. As long as they get together successfully after going out, the 3rd tier is not difficult, and the 4th tier is also promising. In sharp contrast with this place are the inheritors in the Suzaka Hall. Now gathered together, some people who knew each other began to talk about their own situation. Many people also met and chatted with each other. After all, they are no longer in Primordial Star. They don't have any fighting anymore. They have become very peaceful. Some people have changed from start to finish their strength, breath, and appearance. Juyan Daojun came to the main hall somewhat to the end. He failed in the 19th wave, and with so much luck he finally lost. After came here he glanced around, but none of the people in the world of Buddha could see it. Where are Huiqing and Wushuang brother? The strength of these two people is not weak. He has seen the ranking, and Huiqing's ranking is higher than him. The list is still hanging above the Suzaku Palace. Rank number 1 is a powerful being called Light, who has mastered the ultimate way and ranked first. Is the first existence to pass the 19th wave. I heard it took only a quarter of an hour. The number 1 is also worthy of the name, and the ultimate way he has mastered is very terrifying. It is the light way. Is a powerful source comparable to the power of destruction. Wow. Soon the rankings began to change. It's been a long time now, and it's almost a crucial moment for the victory or defeat. Yep. Juyan Daojun narrowed his eyes and saw Huiqing's ranking, in a straight line on the upper body, and finally fixed in the 19th place. And then the 20th is the 10,000 star emperor. The two cleared the level almost at the same time. After receiving the reward, they entered Qiuhuang City and teleported to the Vermilion Bird Palace together. Ji Chaoyang has been chatting all the way, but Huiqing has no joy. Their original star is also special. The 3 ultimate ways are all 9-ranked Dian Immortals. When he and Jian Wushuang first entered the primitive star, they were not even the top Dian Immortals, and their strength was very weak. Now 30 years have passed in an instant. The strength has reached the level of the Emperor, and even the second-order Emperor can be killed. It's a pity that Jian Wushuang is gone. If Ji Chaoyang breaks through, he can also kill the second-order Emperor, but it is a pity that it is too difficult to break through, and it can't be done by tempering. Huiqing still has no breakthrough. Wanqing has the most breakthroughs, and breakthroughs have been made in almost every wave. Originally, he couldn't hold the 18th wave, but finally broke through, and almost lost in the last wave. But when it was critical, his aura became stronger and stronger. He actually reached the point of continuous flow, and cut it off in one bite. The Demon King. After entering the Vermilion Bird Palace, Huiqing saw Daojun Juyan, and the two stepped forward to talk. Soon all the original stars are over. More than 20,000 Taoists gathered here. Hui Qing, you have changed so much. When you were in Qishui Hall, you were still rank 6 Dian Immortal. Brother Wushuang was only rank 3. But in a blink of an eye, you all would kill the second-order emperor. So did Jiu Yan. Joy from the heart. After all, he was there, and Hui Qing was the one who was really himself. There are countless worlds in the entire universe, and many worlds do not even have a single inheritor. There are actually 2 in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, and it is still a medium-sized world. How difficult it is. Hui Qing shook her head and sighed. Unfortunately, Brother Wushuang is gone. Yes, if Brother Wushuang is still there, even if the 4 of us go to the Tomb Mountain, we will be a generation hegemon. Although Ji Chaoyang was a little sad, there was still optimism in the voice. Tear Heaven Daojun stood alone in the corner, listening to Hui Qing's conversation with light in his eyes. Jian Wushuang fell. For him, that was a great thing. He couldn't wait to take out the mustard seeds and distribute it to everyone. Without the pressure of Jian Wushuang, he broke through all the way and reached a level comparable to that of the emperor. The future is infinite. It's just a pity that the beast is a magic weapon. I don't know if I can get it back. But all of this is a story. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5339. The Vermilion Bird Palace revolved, and these inheritors soon went to another palace. Their journey has just begun. Primordial stars are just the starting point. Their path is still very long, but they are close to the place where the dream begins. Tens of thousands of years passed in a blink of an eye. For secret realms, Earth Boundary, Savage Place, Great Xia Ancient Country, a sacrifice is being held in a wild mountain range. The scarlet arrogance rose, making everything in the valley very strange. On the altar, several masked monks in red are maintaining order. Because in addition to them, there are thousands of Daojun and countless mundane practitioners also gathered here. And they are the objects of blood sacrifice. Young sect master, everything is ready, the red robe envoy said respectfully. Hidden in the mountain, a masked man in black armor with no breath at all slowly walked out of the void. Only a look made these red-robed deacons tremble. Although they have only started to follow the young sect master in the last 1,000 years, they are extremely afraid of this young sect master. Because of this young sect master, he has sacrificed countless Dao monarchs in blood within 1,000 years, and he has never let go of even the common customs, and his combat power is unfathomable. Once killed a second-order emperor instantly, so that the other party had no chance to fight back. Let's start. The black armor masked young master's voice is low but cruel. The imprisoned monk below, staring at the red-robed deacon above with anger, especially when he saw the black-armored young master. He hated his bones. You are imprisoning this seat. I am Daxia's 9 princes. You are looking for death. A burly, resolute young man roared. His strength is also the strongest of these people. He has reached the level of a half-step emperor. But here, any red-robed deacon is an existence comparable to the emperor, and they can't resist at all. After the young sect master standing at the top heard these words, his eyes moved, as if thinking of something funny again. His arm slightly lifted and his finger moved. The red-robed deacon behind him, instantly aware, took a palm shot, turned into a black mist and instantly enveloped the young man, who claimed to be the 9th prince of Great Xia. The black mist envelopes the 9th prince, but in an instant, he arrived in front of the young sect master. Daxia's 9 princes, it's a bit interesting. I heard that Daxia is planning to aggressively attack the Maluo kingdom, but there is such a thing. The voice of young master He Jiao was very playful, and he did not take the person in front of him seriously, like it's like looking at a prey. At first, the 9th prince was still very hard-spirited. After all, he was Daxia's 9th prince. He was in a high position since he was a child, and he was used to overpowering others. But when he arrived in front of the black-armored young master, he didn't know what happened. He couldn't get up anymore. His eyes still leaked fear, and his heart shrank into a ball. Originally didn't want to answer, but when he saw those gloomy eyes, he hesitated and said, "Yes, there is such a thing. Exterminate the demon cult?" The name of this battle is very in line with God's will. The young black-armored sect master stretched out his claws and directly pinched the head of the 9 princes of Daxia. And countless pictures came into his mind in an instant. After almost 3 breaths, the black-armored young sect master slowly let go. It's just that the one in his hand has turned into a corpse. The origin, the divine body, and even the memory and his cultivation skills were all wiped out, leaving a withered body. From now on, I will be him, the 9 princes of Daxia ancient kingdom. Xiameng Guanyu. As soon as the voice fell, the Hongpao deacon officially opened the blood sacrifice array. Countless people were teleported to the altar. Everyone's faces are full of death. The realm is too chaotic. Every day there are demon heads performing blood sacrifices. There are constant battles between the ancient countries. The environment of the monks is very bad. Even some sects that have been passed down for hundreds of millions of years may be destroyed overnight. Even the temple where the gods are stationed will be attacked. What's more, they are all beings. Am I going to die? A teenager muttered to himself. His face is not dead, but some are worried. Hongpao deacon shouted. Quickly, pour in the blood of the gods and the crystals don't stop for a moment. When these people are busy, the young sect master hugs his arms around him, hovering in the air a battle high above the ground, watching all this quietly. The blood poured in, the world faded. Countless people swarmed in it. The young man wiped the blood from his face. He tried his best to endure the weakness of his body. He firmly grasped a puppet with a name engraved on it. It seems that the name is a girl. That is his sister. The two depend on each other for fate. He is just a mundane during the refining period. If you want to survive in the realm, you must have a backing. In order to support his sister, he worked as a coolie in a mundane sect. He originally thought to be a backer, but in the end the sect was burdened. Everyone went up to the sect master, and down to the disciple coolies. I'm fine when I die, but my sister is still young. The boy's eyes were red, and tears flowed out in the next moment. He is not afraid of death. He is afraid that he is dead. No one will protect his sister. The sect was destroyed, and his sister was still waiting for him to go home in the back mountain. But he can't go back now, and can't go back again. With the blood boiling, the boy gradually softened to the altar. Although his strength is weak, his willpower is terribly strong, and he can actually fall with those Mahayana monks. When fell, in the blood and tears, he thought of scenes from when he was a child. In a small courtyard, his father is a hunter. He went hunting in the mountains to feed his family, and he was nourished, and he was still an only child. When I was a child, my father brought my sister back on the mountain. Xiaofan, you have a sister. Xiaofan, you have to remember that you are a man. You have to protect your sister and mother. Come, pick up the knife, and continue practicing. Then the beasts attacked the village. The parents rushed into the beast tied to protect him and his sister. Xiaofan. 2 brothers and sisters left their homes, begging all the way for a living. Fortunately, he has practiced martial arts since he was a child. Whether he is a coolie or a domestic slave, he has a bite to eat. But now without him, what should the little girl do? Brother, go home. When the boy closed his eyes, in the last scene, his sister was standing at the gate of the fenced courtyard, holding a bowl of clear water, waiting for him to return home. Someone keeps falling down in the altar. Now even the earth's celestial beings have fallen, and then the heavenly celestial beings, and the powerful Taoist among the celestial beings. The strength of the land boundary is still divided according to the name of the most ancient era. Dian Immortal is a heavenly immortal in the earth boundary. Yenxian is an earth immortal, and Mahayana is an ancestral realm. The Lord of Mortals is also the Mahayana of mortals. Young Master Heijia, his eyes changed, and a touch of surprise came out, turning his head to look north. This scene scared Deacon Hongpao jumped. This young sect master is a fearless lord. Even he was taken aback. Could it be that a powerful emperor is here? https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5340. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The young master Black Jia coldly said, "You go first." The sacrifice has already begun. And these red-robed deacons are useless. And staying here will reveal their identity. They are all strong men of some sex. And they were dispatched here for the blood sacrifice this time. And they usually didn't meet each other. Except for him. No one knows the true identity of these people. Yes. The several red deacons respectfully took orders. A tiny small formation rose up. These deacons entered it. And were instantly moved hundreds of millions of miles away. And their breath disappeared instantly. In today's valley, there is only this young sect master. Inside the altar, there was now a mess, with only a few bones left. From the altar, a faint source emerged, which cannot be said to be the source, but a force that has never been seen before, and it contains all things in the world. It's too little. The power is also average, only comparable to ordinary emperor origin. After reaching out and grasping this source, the black armor young sect master leaked a trace of strange color in his eyes. Can't help but growl. Old guy, you are not the last time, why is it not enough? A surprising scene appeared, and a ghost flew out of the black-armored young sect master's body, floating in the air. I can't blame me, this time the sacrifices are too weak. If it is a fourth-order emperor, one will do, the ghost said aggrievedly. The young sect master He Jia had a look of disgust, and he pulled the weak source in his hand, and threw it to the ghost. You really dare to say that the fourth-order emperor is here, and we all have to die? The ghost leaked a smile, and quickly flattered. How come, with your current strength, can't you escape if you can't beat it? It's simple. Young black-armored sect master lazily paid attention, and then said, Coming quickly, someone is coming here, the strength is not weak. Oh. Hearing these words, the ghost leaked a meaningful expression. If the strength is not weak, it means that you can fight or even kill. After seeing the other party's thoughts, young master He Jia sighed. It's not someone else who is here. It's an acquaintance, let's go. After hearing these words, the ghost didn't dare to say anything more, and re-entered the body of young black-armored sect master. A black-clothed monk head, extremely fast, arrived in this valley in an instant after the black-armored young master left. Looking at the blood-colored altar on the ground, the black-robed monk's face leaked anger. With her generous sleeves swaying, a 12 or 13-year-old girl, clutching his thigh, did not dare to look at the blood-colored altar. When looking down at the girl, the head of the monk leaked a smile. He had been in this situation once, and the man gave him a smile to make him feel at ease. Brother. The little girl in ragged clothes had clear eyes, and when she looked at the blood-colored altar, her heart leaked uneasy. The surrounding breath tears through the world, and the ordinary cannot stay here forever. The head of the monk shook his head and waved his hand to take away the breath of the world, leaving only a bald altar with solidified blood on top. The two landed slowly, and as soon as they landed, the little girl rushed to the ring. She could feel that his brother seemed to have been here. Thump. I don't know what I tripped over. The little girl stood up hard with both hands on her back, looking at the bulge behind her. The head of the monk stood on the side and did not stop him. With his identity and strength, he could see the past and future of the little girl at a glance. Although it was once poor, it was a ray of light. The future is turbid, and even if he will take in this little girl, her future is hard to predict. He closed his eyes slightly, and for a moment countless pairs of eyes stared here. The sacrifice here has destroyed so many people. It can cause such a large cause and effect. But he can't see who is here to sacrifice. When she opened her eyes again and looked at the little girl, there was pity in her eyes. The little girl was just a microcosm of the countless pairs of eyes. And at the same time, there were still many people in the same situation as the little girl. Not afraid of cause and effect. Obviously a monk of the magic way. At some point, there was a puppet in the little girl's hand, with slanted writing on it. It was left by his brother before he died. Sister, stay alive. This is what he left behind with all his might before he died. But for some reason it was not destroyed. If the young sect master knew, he would be surprised. Maybe he is surprised now. On the cliff of the valley, a person in the void, staring coldly at the puppet in the little girl's hand. Old man, are you really that serious? You and I will kill you. It seems that this is the evil result of the sacrifice. I have already felt a sense of anxiety in my heart. It seems that this is the thing. Even the sacrifice can't be destroyed. Hidden here is the young black armored sect master. Forget it. As long as you reshape a source for you, you can get rid of it completely. I hate this kind of day. The voice of the old man in the body sounded again, and he said in a low voice, "No matter what, kill this person first. He is just a Taoist. There is nothing to be afraid of. You are teaching me to do things." The young master He Jia's voice was cold and stern. The person in his body was taken aback. How could the usually cold-blooded young sect master hesitate? No, I just suggest to get rid of that puppet. There is a cause and effect of you and me above it. Don't keep it. Sect master He Jia didn't pay attention, but kept his eyes on the monk head, and finally shook his head. On the altar, the little girl knelt on the ground and sobbed. The monk's first step came, knelt down and patted the shoulder, and said, "Don't live up to your brother's long-cherished wish." The little girl raised her head, looked at the head of the monk, and then said, "Why did my brother die?" The head of the monk was stunned for a moment, a little stunned for a moment, because he found that the little girl's future changed again, and it was still muddy, but now it has turned into darkness. It seems that there will be another extraordinary figure in this world. Of course, this refers to the ancient country of Great Xia. Let's go, I'll take you to see. The head of the monk took the little girl's hand and rose into the air. The two of them left in an instant. After disappearing completely, the young black armored sect master, who was hidden in the void, slowly appeared. Looking at the place where the other party disappeared, there was a trace of longing in his eyes. "Huiqing, long time no see." His voice was very low, and he didn't have the coldness of the past. Wow. The black armor concealed into the body, put on a black robe, and slowly took off the mask. This black-armored young sect master is the Jian Wushuang, who has disappeared for thousands of years. The hair became white at this moment. "You are crazy, don't be afraid that someone will see it." The voice in the body sounded again. Jian Wushuang's eyes changed sharply in an instant, and he shouted angrily, "Shut up for me." That person was not someone else. It was the White King who took him away. Chapter 5341. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. After being looted at that time, I thought that the other party would kill him directly. But I didn't expect this old guy to actually want to take him away. Just kidding, his Dao is a unique extreme Dao. Even if the opponent is an absolute powerhouse, he can't win the home. Eventually, he merged into one by accident. I had no choice but to swear to live in the same body for the time being. But this is not a long-term solution. The White King wanted to reconsolidate a source that did not belong to the Temple of Qishan, and wanted to cultivate to the Sixth Order Emperor again. The sacrifice of Jian Wushuang Mandi realm is to refine the origin for the opponent. It was still a little bit close now. As long as he helped King by refining a new source, the opponent would be able to escape from his body. If they violate the oath, both of them will collapse the road. He was used to this kind of life originally, but now that he sees Huiqing, he also wants to go to the Tomb Mountain with those inheritors. This is his holy place for spiritual practice, with inexhaustible resources. There is also the old horn man who agreed to refine the beast weapon for him, and it is estimated that the other party has already felt that he has fallen. King Bai turned his eyes and said in a low voice, "Jian Wushuang, don't feel sad. You only need to follow the great gods to ensure that your cultivation speed is much faster than those of inheritors." These words are not empty words. Although he has been busy with blood sacrifices for 1,000 years, his cultivation has not fallen. In the realm, a mysterious organization Ka is the young master of it. The ones promised him that as long as he breaks through the emperor, he can become the leader of the Kuei organization and control the realm. This hidden force is very large. Just at one of the halls that Jian Wushuang knew, there were 2 sixth-order emperors sitting in the town, one bright and one dark. What is clear is an ancient sect, but the dark place is disturbing the world, and the surrounding forces are working together to clear the temple. The land boundary. The temple is located in Tianzhou, which is the core area of the entire continent. The rest of Tiannan, Tianbei, Eastern region, and Western region were all in chaos, and the temple had to be driven away. The status of young sect master has a high status in the K organization, surpassing ordinary emperors, and is similar to the status of fourth-order emperors. To confirm the identity, mainly depends on the token. Now the token in Jianhui's hands is a third-tier token. Generally, only the fourth-order emperor with great merit can obtain this token. The fifth-order emperor is the second rank, and the sixth-order emperor is the first rank. There is also the legendary super first grade. Once the White King was at that level. With this third-rank token, Jian Wushuang can contact the local emperor and the powerful Taoist to help him no matter where he reaches the boundary. This time the blood sacrifice mobilized the Kuei organization in Daxiagu. A second-rank elder summoned, "Your treasure is here." King Bai reminded. Jian Wushuang didn't answer. He turned into the dead Daxia ninth prince. At the same time, in the ancestral temple of the Great Xia ancient kingdom, the emperor who was responsible for guarding the soul lamp saw the ninth soul lamp at the top lit up again, and he took a deep breath. In some places the soul lamp could be covered. At first he thought that the 9 princes had fallen, so he had to report. Fortunately, there was a rule that the soul lamp would go out for a quarter of an hour before reporting. Jian Wushuang, who had become the 9 princes of the Great Xia kingdom, instantly disappeared in place like a phantom, and headed to the imperial capital of the Great Xia kingdom. Summer. In the southern part of Tiannan, it can be regarded as a super dynasty. The first emperor, who opened up the kingdom, was a sixth-order emperor. After he abdicated, he has been in retreat for many years. The emperor of today's Daxia is a young fifth-order emperor, with average combat power and average potential, but he has a brilliant strategy and management. In the Daxia clan, no one respected him. In the clan, in addition to this emperor, there are also ancestors and several elders, all of whom are fifth-order emperors. If you can't convince the crowd, it's just a puppet. Great Xia state capital. This super city is like a giant lying on the ground. The 16 gates are open, and there are hundreds of millions of people entering and leaving every day. With so many powerful people gathering, the capital is naturally prosperous and lively, especially a place for the strong to have fun. There are many crazy practitioners in the realm, and there are more lazy practitioners. It's hard to grow up under the shadow of the fathers, especially in this tempting city. East City, the most affluent and lively place. Jian Wushuang took advantage of the identity of the 9th prince, Xiameng Guanyu, to come to the capital. Although it was very conspicuous, it was hidden deep enough. This was the real big hidden in the dynasty. In addition to being strong, the benefits of the super quality physical body also have many ways to help him, such as the means of change. When he was in the Shangqing Palace, the Broly he saw was a change of cultivation way, and the other party was getting stronger and stronger. What he has become like, now that he has turned into this 9 prince, even the founding emperor can't detect it, unless he is dragging his origin to examine it carefully. The average 5th-order emperor, let alone, the origin is placed on the opponent's face, and it may not be able to see it learning the way Xiameng Guanyu remembered. He swaggered into the capital. A quarter of an hour before long, a gang of eagle dogs from the palace came to guard them. He had swallowed the memory of the other party before. Although the mother of the 9th prince was not a queen, her background was not ordinary. He came from a big family. His grandfather was a powerful 5th-order emperor, and several uncles were also 4th-order emperors. The ruling and opposition parties are very powerful. In addition, the mother's own strength is also the pinnacle of Tier 4, the strongest in the harem. There is only one son like him, so Xiameng Guanyu has been domineering since he was a child. It's a pity that this time, I hit him on the head. He completed the trial of the clan in a remote county, and he gave it to him in a pot, and he passed it directly. Jian Wushuang didn't care about these intertwined forces. If necessary, it only takes a little time, and it is not a problem to destroy the entire Daxia. It's just that there is no need, and there is no time. He wouldn't be so boring. His Royal Highness, are we going to Firefox Palace? Do you want me to ask Fairy Firefox to arrange it first? The leader of the guard, who was also his bodyguard, asked. The clan's trial is cruel. No matter how high the status is, you must accept the trial. If you fail the trial, your status will decline. If you pass the trial, you will get a treasure and support for future treasures. He has the support of his mother and grandpa, and there is no shortage of treasures. If he didn't make trouble in this trial, it would have been over. It's just that these people are too unlucky, and the place of trial is actually near his retreat, and they are looted away. The guard leader knew that His Highness, every time he returned from the trial, he would go to the Firefox Palace to get angry. It's a life and death fight all day long, and it's very stressful. Every time I pass, I have to take it easy. Chapter 5342. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign, no need. Jian Wushuang replied lightly. Firefox Palace is a brothel where monks grow up, and there are often Taoists and emperors to consume. Those young girls of the Humei clan who have been trained, even the emperor will not be able to control them. Of course, the price is also very expensive. A fox girl in the Mahayana realm needs thousands of crystals, and even tens of thousands in the Earth Fairy realm. After all, the cost of cultivating a fox and charming girl in the Mahayana realm is extraordinary. The entire fox family was not suppressed because of the existence of the Firefox Palace. Instead, they got a county town to help Daxia guard the frontier and confront the Mayuo kingdom. Speaking of which, this fox clan was originally accepted by Xiameng Guanyu's grandfather. He went to the Firefox Palace to be happy, and it was the highest treatment. The emperor can't afford to play with the hundreds of thousands of gods of the fairy fox clan girl. He only needs to hook a hand, and there will be a number of arrivals. Even the legendary emperor-level fox saint, he almost slammed the bow. Unfortunately, it was not an opponent, and Xiameng Guanyu did not succeed. Since then, the saint dare not come to the capital again. There was that scene in Jian Wushuang's memory, and a strange color leaked from his eyes. In less than a quarter of an hour, he arrived at the Firefox Palace in his memory. Coming here is not only because of Xiameng Guanyu's habit, but Jian Wushuang did come here for other things. The treasure he needs has been delivered. The place agreed by the other party is this Firefox Palace. Firefox Palace is located by the most prosperous lake. A 9-story tower is majestic. As it is getting darker today, the tower is brightly lit. His Royal Highness, you won't say a word in advance when you come. Before entering the door, I heard a soft and feminine voice. The voice fell, and a coquettish woman in a red fairy dress came out. She was the palace lord of the first 3 floors of Firefox Palace, and a powerful emperor. According to the description in the memory, the palace lord had a leg with Xiameng Guanyu. So when the other party's soft body leaned over, he also unscrupulously touched a few, and then said playfully, Old rules, Tianzi number 1 room. His Royal Highness, why do you have to go to the 6th floor when you first come here? It's better to play with the slave house for a while. After Jian Wushuang heard these words, his whole body was shivering, especially the softness on his arms. Humph! How strong his mood is, how can he be confused by this kind of strategy? No, I have an appointment to talk about something here. Jian Wushuang pulled out his arm, and directly led the person into the room behind a door. The palace owner was a bit embarrassed, because the name of Tian had already been set, but the name of Tian was not in her control, and the trouble was left to the palace director of the middle 3rd floor. Come to the 6th floor. Here is like a huge patio. He also knew these 3-tier palace masters but only knew them, because the palace lord here has the highest strength among the 4th order emperors. And there are rumors that the palace lord here has a relationship with the prince. The prince of the dynasty had just succeeded in joining forces, and became a 3rd order emperor, with extremely strong combat power. The power is naturally very large, although he relied on the power behind his mother to show off his power. But in front of the prince, he was still a lot worse. He is a toothless wolf, and the opponent is a carp that transforms into a dragon. Snapped. After everyone reached the 6th floor, they went straight to room number 1 Tianzi. Before Jian Wushuang reached the door, he found that there was already someone inside. If it was his character, someone would change it, but the temper of my 9 princes is not like this. Someone, then you have to see who it is first. If it is a casual cultivator with a low status, just shoot it out. Snapped. Jian Wu's palms just touched the door, but someone inside opened it by himself. I've seen the slave and maid, Your Majesty the 9th prince. It was Du Shenyang, the palace owner on the 3rd floor, who opened the door. Jian Wushuang moved slightly. A trace of thought power entered the room, and instantly understood. It turned out that sitting inside was his elder brother, His Royal Highness. No wonder I'm being stopped below. It turns out there are people here. According to the description in the memory, the prince seldom came here. As long as he came here, he would surely let Du Shenyang accompany him. It seems that I have broken through now. Come here to be cool. Brother 9, since I'm here, let's do it together. In the room, the prince's voice was smiling. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly, leaking a look of embarrassment, and then said without rush, I'm harassing the emperor brother, but I have something to do, so I won't do it together. I will go to the East Palace and meet the emperor next day. A narration. After leaving this sentence, Jian Wushuang glanced at this Du Shenyang, and it was as beautiful as he remembered. It's no wonder that a talent like the prince will put down his body and come to this place of red dust. When leaving Tianzi No. 1, Jian Wushuang directly asked King Bai to tell the 5th Order Emperor that he changed to room number 7. In fact, every room is the same, just like their domineering kid who loves face. After entering, it is completely a private space. In the front, you can see the bottom of the patio, www.novel.com. There are a group of fox and charming girls dancing, just like a fright. You all go out. You are not allowed to come in without my order. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and after ordering to go down, he sat directly on the soft throne. The whole person was slumped on the action, and his eyes were softly staring down. Why, it's all here. Don't you find a fox girl to play with? King Bai laughed. Since possessing Jian Wushuang, he discovered that Jian Wushuang was like a eunuch, and he knew about cultivation, and it was a very unique kind of cultivation. Everything is up with resources. Jian Wushuang, who hadn't been so relaxed for a long time, laughed at himself and said, Woman, only the sword that will affect you. The two chatted with each other, but an old man with white hair like a waterfall came to the outside world. He entered the room next to Jian Wushuang. Just when I entered the room, I saw the guard next to him stunned. Isn't this his grandson's obedience? How could he be here? Could it be that? He couldn't believe it. However, nothing was revealed. The guards also recognized this person, Xianyuan de Pan, the grandfather of the 9th prince, the of war at the time, screamed for battle. The top figure of the Xianyuan family, known as the 5th master of Xianyuan, ranked 5th among his peers, but first in strength. There were many 5th order emperors who fell in his hands with the strength of the 5th tier peak. This Firefox Palace was established because of him. This 5th master has a hobby, that is double cultivation. The entire Firefox Palace, like it was built for him, will appear here almost all year round. But he usually goes to the 9th floor, where there is a complete Daojuan level cauldron. I don't know why it will be in Tianziho today, and it's still in him, next door to his grandson. Naturally, these guards did not dare to ask more, and after respecting the meeting, they were silent. Chapter 53-43. One Dao Sword Sovereign. The other party is here. It's a second-rank elder, and the only second-rank elder in the capital. After receiving the information from the other party, King Bai still had a hint of surprise on his face. It's him, Xianyuan de Pan. It was a coincidence that he was the grandfather of the 9th prince. Xianyuan de Pan next door also asked about it, and Xiameng Guanyu was alone next door. It's not that a family does not enter a door. He had never expected that the grandson who had not accomplished enough to do more than ever had this ability. He was actually the young sect master of the Kuei organization, with a 3rd grade token. In a simple formation, a mustard seed appeared, and inside it was the treasure Jian Wushuang needed. Even if it is a father and son, the rules cannot be broken. After Xianyuan Depan finished all this, he could not find Xia Meng Guanyu. He glanced casually at the fox girl below, revealing the color of greed. After checking the treasures in the mustard seeds, Jian Wu's eyes were filled with joy. In the past 1,000 years, the biggest receipt has been it. In addition to these things, he also got the black armor, given by the at first, which was the armor of the candle dragon. It is an extremely critical component of the beast god soldier, and it is precisely because of this candle dragon armor that he chose to join the Kuei organization. Then it got deeper and deeper. The defensive power of this candle dragon armor is comparable to the eternal treasure, second only to the eye of the candle dragon. It's just the eye of the candle dragon, with the beast god realm, and it's the only treasure that still carries the beast god's origin on it. Jian Wushuang turned over and took out a token from the mustard seeds. Compared with the armor of the candle dragon, this token is his most valuable treasure. It can't be said to be a treasure, but a secret thing is recorded in the token. It is information about candle dragon accessories. The Kuei organization in the realm has been collecting information about the accessories of the beasts for thousands of years, and now it has finally found it. Mo Luo Kingdom, the first Prince Rasha, the arm of the candle dragon, which is a suspected eternal beast weapon accessory, has entered the Fourth Order Emperor. In the northern part of the heavens, there is an inheritor who confirms that he has the claws of the candle dragon. The strength can kill the First Order Emperor. The Tomb of the Gods, a special being, contains the heart of the beast god. Absolute strength. Seeing these 3 pieces of news, Jian Wushuang leaked a look of shock. I didn't expect it to be collected. In addition to the realm, even other secret realm news has been sent. It seems to be the meaning of the god. The heaven realm person should be the Tao sovereign. This is useless information. The one in the Tomb of the Gods, with absolute strength, contains the heart of the beast god, and can only be taken out unless the opponent is killed and slaughtered. Even if he is lucky, if he is not discovered by the other party, even if he is backed by the K organization, he can't make the other party's idea, and can only wait later. He has seen the ultimate combat power, and he has also heard King White mentioned it. The White King at the pinnacle is the ultimate combat power. Maybe after helping the White King recover the peak combat power, he can touch that special life. The only thing that can be snatched away now is the one in the hands of the Prince of the Maluo Kingdom. The Fourth Order Emperor is a bit tricky. It looks like it needs to be arranged. Isn't Daxia planning to send troops to conquer the Demon Kingdom? It's an opportunity. The White King floated out, revealing his evil face, and said coldly, "An acquaintance is here." And Jian Wushuang frowned, put away the treasure naturally, and turned his head to look in the direction of the door. Although he couldn't see anyone, he still felt that the person from the outside world had a deep karma with him. Hui Qing. Why is he here? Get up right now. Fortunately, feeling the breath, I went to Tianzi number 1, and didn't pay too much attention to it. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that Hui Qing had discovered his identity, and followed all the way here. Although now the strength has increased a lot, Hui Qing's strength is not weak. He has found that Hui Qing has reached the level of consummation. The ultimate way is at least the 8th level. Now that he is still tempering outside, it seems that he intends to break through after he is ready to complete the ultimate path. This group of inheritors went to the Tomb Mountain for 100 years, and then began to go down the mountain to experience and accept some tasks. He has also met many acquaintances over the years. I have also encountered Wanxing in the Tianbei continent, and the opponent's strength has also improved very quickly. At that time, I saw that he and Ji Chaoyang had the power to kill the emperor, and that Lengshuang Daojun now has broken through Chengdijin. Their batch of Dian immortals had a lot of breakthrough emperors. As long as they broke through, they were the Third Order peak emperors, and each was the seedlings of the Fifth Order emperors. There is also Zhu Yan. He is also the emperor now. As the oldest Taoist, after he broke through, he directly stepped into the Fourth Order Taoist, and the moment he succeeded in joining the Tao, he took 4 steps. When I first met, I was still in the ruins of a sect, and I was a little envious of seeing the other side's charm. They all have a bright way to go, and he is like a mouse afraid to see the sun. After taking his seat again, Jian Wushuang took out other treasures, which were all exotic flowers and fruits that increased his divine body. These treasures were enough to make his divine body more than 8,000 times. Over the years, he has raised his divine body by 2,000 times, and now it is 7,000 times. These treasures can further enhance his divine body 1,000 times. The distance to the basic divine body is 10,000 times faster. The beast god domain is up to 10,000, which is of little use to him unless the old man with horns can refine the origin of the beast god for him. He didn't trust that very much. The other party also mentioned that he could help him refine the origin of the beast god, but he rejected it. In fact, he still has a glimmer of hope in his heart. As long as he is separated from King Bai, he can still go to the Tomb Mountain, where is his home. He doesn't want to be in the Temple of Qishan all his life. After breaking through the Emperor at the Tomb Mountain, at least he is free to go to the outside world at any time. It's just that it's a little bit behind the restoration of King White's origin, and there is a divine body behind, which is even more troublesome. The treasure of the body does not need him to look for, but a body of the body still does not need to sacrifice many monks. The ultimate bloody, it is not so easy to refine. If it is other powerful people, it's okay, but it's too difficult for him to be the host of the Taoist monarch. Sitting cross-legged on the soft throne, quietly breaking through the divine body. Tianzi number 1 room. Hui Qing, it's been a long time since I saw you, Prince Xia Meng said enthusiastically. He and Hui Qing have known each other for hundreds of years. When he met for the first time, he had just broken through, and Hui Qing came to challenge him in the realm of Taoist monarch. At that time, he thought that the other party's brain was broken, and he was about to kill him. To save face, ask each other for advice. But what everyone didn't expect was that he was defeated, and it was a complete defeat. Lost to a Taoist monarch. Fortunately, not many people watched it at the beginning, and no one knew about it after a strict order. Otherwise, Hui Qing's name would have already shocked the entire territory. This is the inheritor. He later learned of Hui Qing's identity from the ancestors, and he deliberately made friends, not entirely because of the background, but because Hui Qing's own strength was enough to make anyone value it. Chapter 5344. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. Hui Qing did not come alone. The little girl was still by her side. Du Shenyang wandered around these places all the year round, exquisitely, and dismissed the others at the moment, walked in front of the little girl, bent down and said softly, "Little girl, what's your name?" "My name is Jiang Shang." The little girl had bright eyes and did not have stage fright at all. The Crown Prince Xia Meng, the champion, untied a piece of gemstone from his waist and handed it over. Unexpectedly, Master Hui Qing would still bring someone with him. He came in a hurry, and didn't have any gifts on him. "This dragon soul jade that has been with me for a long time will be given to you." Hui Qing knew the other party's character, and didn't shy away, so Jiang Shang accepted it directly. Seeing the doting in Hui Qing's eyes, Champion Xia Meng moved slightly. Xiao Jiang Shang is just a mortal, and he does not have Hui Qing's blood. Why is he so concerned about this mortal? Is it a special hobby? Seeing Hui Qing's appearance, it's not very similar. Hui Qing also saw the other party's doubts, and first explained. "Forgot to introduce Jiang Shang, my first disciple." Disciple? Teaching method. After hearing these words, Champion Xia Meng leaked admiring eyes. With Hui Qing's strength and potential, if he wants to recruit disciples, I am afraid that Dao Jun will rush to worship him. Unexpectedly, the first disciple actually accepted a mortal, and it seemed that the aptitude in the opponent's body was very average, and it didn't look like a monk's material. The two were seated, and Du Shenyang took Jiang Shang to the floor-to-ceiling windows to watch the graceful dance of the Fox family below. Tianzi number 7 room. Jian Wushuang was very curious about why Hui Qing came here, but he is still not able to show up right now. If he shows his identity, he will probably go to the Tomb Mountain. At that time, it was discovered that there was still a person in him, and it was the White King. It would be difficult to explain by then. The oath was also issued, and now there is only one way to go. If you are curious, we can eavesdrop on it, so as not to come here for you and me, the White King said lightly, his figure floating out, but his eyes were looking at the fox girl below. Jian Wushuang snorted coldly, and said with disdain, "Are you still afraid of a Taoist monarch? This is the realm, blood sacrifices are very common, so what if you are recognized?" After a quarter of an hour, the two of them stared at a miniature formation in front of them, eavesdropping on the conversation in room number 1 Tianzi. "Master Huiqing, this time my father insists on fighting the Emo Luo kingdom. I feel tired. Now Xia is not only facing the Emo Luo, but also some super tribes in the territory are ready to move. The Crown Prince Xia Meng, the champion, already has the posture of a superior person. He doesn't see right or wrong in everything, only the advantages and disadvantages. In his opinion, going to the Demon Kingdom is a way of hurting the enemy by 1,800. It is not as good as suppressing the rebellious tribes in Daxia. At least it can be crushed. As the First Order monk head, Huiqing, according to his idea, is best to save the kingdom of Maluo first. Of course, when he came to the realm this time, he also came with a task, and that was to remove the 10 heads of the Emperor of Demon Dao. Regardless of weakness, as long as it is an emperor. He came to Daxia this time because he was close to Emo Luo and heard that there was a big battle. Moreover, the national teacher of the Great Xia Kingdom is not someone else, but the immeasurable Buddha. Both of them are inheritors. After the immeasurable Buddha came down the mountain, he has been in Daxia. He is the emperor, and the task he accepts before going down the mountain is naturally much more difficult than that of the Taoist. It may take millions of years of planning to succeed. Good. Champion Xiameng saw Huiqing's face and understood the other party's intention in his heart. Does the national teacher mean? Huiqing nodded. The matter of the sword pointing to the devil has already begun in the Great Xia Ancestral Temple. It is not easy to persuade your majesty. You can only fight. Hearing the word Zhongmiao, Champion Xiameng flashed a light in his eyes. I also understood a lot at a time. No wonder the ancestors said at that time, a hero for a time, a hero forever. It is estimated that he is his father. This battle for Maluo not only calms the border disturbances, but also stabilizes Xiao and Daxia. It will get the support of the sects from all over the world. This battle is profitable and harmless. As for the fallen strong, they are not considered strong, or take the opportunity to weaken the strength of some sections. His father was appointed by his ancestors. Now Daxia needs to expand its strength. As for the internal stability, he needs a benevolent person. Now he understands the intention of the ancestor. Whether he is a benevolent person or not, he must pretend to be a benevolent person. Otherwise, the position above is not his. Recalling who among the 9 brothers was the most kind, the champion Xiameng showed his coolness. Second, 8 princes and 1 prince. Several of them have died, and the trials within the royal family are no less than some ancient sections. Besides, the people recruited by the ancient sect were all talented people. But the imperial family was indifferent. The few princes who can resist to the present, or become the emperor to divide the frontier important land. Either you can eat and wait for death like the 9th prince Xia Meng Guanyu. That is, with a strong background, in order to be so leisurely. Now there are 2 princes in the imperial capital, whose powers are not ordinary, has full wings. Among them, the 2nd prince is a special case. The achievement of the emperor was 1,000,000 years earlier than him, and now he is the 3rd-tier peak, and may break through the 4th-order emperor at any time. Because of the benevolence on the surface, many people have been attracted, and the strong under them are like clouds, and there are many 4th-order emperors. The 2nd child has always been a thorn in his eyes and a nail in his flesh. Now that he understands the intentions of his ancestors, he feels a little uneasy. Although the position of the prince was determined early, it was impossible to say what to do if he was abandoned halfway, or if he fell. Master Huiqing, please also give me some pointers. Champion Xia Meng respectfully held his fist to meet. Hui Qing is a bit embarrassed. He doesn't want to get involved in this kind of worldly dispute, but the other party's attitude is not easy for him to refuse, so he can only open up some things he knows. First of all, he was required to stop the foreign war. De Xia's intentions were not as one-sided as Xia Meng champion guessed, and there were still some problems. De Xiazhen might not win the battle against Momo Luo. If there was only one voice inside De Xia at the beginning, he would underestimate the enemy and be criticized if he loses, and there would be no one behind him. This requires a voice of opposition. As long as the prince opposes this time, he will be the winner if he loses, and he won't lose money if he wins. Therefore he has to oppose it. After listening to Hui Qing's explanation, Champion Xia Meng understood instantly and bowed down again. Boom! In the courtyard, I don't know when a ring appeared, and the battle of life and death is being staged above it at this time. Disturbed by this thunder, Champion Xia Meng was very annoyed. Fork the two people from Citation and chop them out for me. Du Sherngyang quickly stepped forward to comfort. Hui Qing shook her head, reminding the prince to keep a low profile at this time. Chapter 53-45. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. Jian Wushuang in the next room understood what they were talking about there. He also knew a lot about Daxia's battle against the Maluo kingdom, not only because of the memories of the 9 princes, but also because of the secret promotion of the Kuei organization. The Maluo nation is now full of members of the Quebec organization, and they also need to expand, but if they rush to attack the surrounding forces, it will be disadvantageous. When the strength is too strong, they will be attacked by groups. It's better to go fishing and let Daxia come and beat him. When the time comes, I will bring Daxia's elite in a pot, and then backhand invade Daxia. Wouldn't it be better? This is the top secret, and only the first-rank elder will know that Jian Wushuang's identity is special. When he was in the Maluo country, the first-rank elder who was sitting there told him about this. This time he sneaked into Daxia. He also came with a mission, which was to fool more masters to the Maluo kingdom. These idiots! King White sneered. On the other hand, Jian Wushuang put away the formation. This formation could only be eavesdropped by using King Bei's spatial origin. With his current strength, he could not eavesdrop on the emperor's conversation. Okay, get ready to catch turtles in the urn. By then, all the strong men who have fallen will be yours. King White sneered. It's yours too. The two opened the door and left in a hurry. When I walked to the outside world, I glanced at the crown prince Xia Meng champion from a distance. On the luxurious Fei Hu, there were 18 emperor guards neatly around, all the way to the palace swagger. Xia Meng Guanyu also had many followers. Although it is not as good as the prince and the second prince, it is not much different. There are dozens of emperors alone. The weak second-order emperor is only enough to be a guard. The real third-order peak emperors are all served as guests. Some of them took refuge under him after offending people, and some were dead soldiers sent by his grandfather. The 18 guards outside were the dead men sent by his grandfather, each of the second-tier peak combat power, and the guard leader was the third-order peak emperor. Once in danger, you can instantly form a battle formation to fight against tier 4 emperors. There are countless strong people in the world, but the fourth-order emperor is still very rare. Not to mention that he is Daxia's prince. Even if he is Daxia's prince, there is no fourth-order emperor under his family. The fourth-order emperor is a guest no matter where he goes. As for the fifth-order emperor, he would not pay attention to these little guys. The fifth-order emperors generally follow some sixth-order emperors, seeking refuge, and letting the sixth-order emperors give pointers. They are all here to improve their strength. Treasures are not too useful for them, unless it is some precious eternal treasure to make them tempted. After returning to the palace, Jian Wushuang began to figure out what he was doing now. It is estimated that in a few years, the army will be officially mobilized to the Maluo kingdom. Although he is the prince, he does not have any military power, so he can only take people with him. In Daxia, anyone who is a child of the royal family has the right to recruit private soldiers. In addition to some of Xia Meng Guanyu's followers, there is also a private army. The 4 secret realms, except for the heavens and the tombs of gods, all have many ancient kingdoms. In the heavens or in the outside world, it is rare to encounter a realm of cultivation. But as long as there is a kingdom, there will be an army of cultivation. The army under Jian Wu's hands was very small, and he couldn't support it with more. Just a set of innate treasures. Ordinary ones need thousands of sacred stones. A team of thousands is a cost of millions. Even if he is a prince, he doesn't have that much money in his hands. He was trained by his mother, and he himself doesn't have that much money to train him. These 1,000 people are not enough. Jian Wushuang's eyes rolled. In the Battle of Emoluo, what he wanted was the accessories of the Candle Dragon, that 4th Order Emperor. He also asked King Bai to inquire about it. If it is an internal member, I am afraid that the would have taken it away and threatened him with a beast and soldier. But since it is not moving, it shows that the status of the 4th Order Emperor is not ordinary. Such a young 4th Order Emperor. Emoluo Kingdom, the prince. Jian Wushuang muttered to himself, his status is not too high. They are not princes. Besides, the Emperor of the Maluo Kingdom is no more than the 5th Order Peak Emperor. With King White's supergrade token, it is entirely possible to dispatch a first-grade elder to assassinate. Anyway, a 4th-tier emperor cannot influence the overall situation of the Maluo Kingdom. But King White, who had just sent a call, was rejected by the gods. It seems that there are other purposes in this. The gods must have plans in the Maluo nation, otherwise they would not be so important. After Jian Wushuang was ready, he didn't force it, but set out to prepare. Since he couldn't rely on others, he would do it alone. Entering Tier 4, it was a little bit pressured, but it wasn't to the point where it was completely irresistible. This time, when he came to Daxia State Capital, he was ready to break through rank 9. Now his ultimate path has reached the 6th level peak, and the ultimate path has reached the 7th level peak. It's almost a little bit. Kendo may not be able to completely break through for a while, but Jidao has reached its limit, and it needs some assistance. www.novel.com to hope for a breakthrough. Once the extreme path breaks through, he will be able to completely grasp the power of all things, and the origin of space. He is also constantly breaking through, and now his realm in space has surpassed those native monarchs, and can be comparable to those 4th Order existences. It's just that in terms of hard power, it's a little worse. If you master the power of all things, and you can completely make up for this shortcoming, then the 4th Order Emperor will not be unable to fight. He now has the record of beheading the 3rd Order Emperor. Since the space is small, his thoughts on the universe can merge with the swallowing power, and appear as a swallowing universe. The 3rd Order Emperor entered, and was swallowed into nothingness. If the extreme path breaks through again, the combination of the power of thought, the power of swallowing, and the power of all things, his strength will also undergo a qualitative change. 9 turns are complete. Old White Ghost, are you sure which treasure will be auctioned in the capital? Sure, I have my own person in that auction house. Jian Wushuang nodded, not talking. The identity of the 9th prince should not be wasted. The prince's background is very complicated, and the relationship is hard enough. He has to make good use of it. Come on, go to the Colosseum. It took less than a day to come back, after searching all the treasures inside and outside the palace, and taking it with him. There was no need to stay here. What he has to do now is to make a blockbuster, and let the outsiders understand that Xia Meng Guanyu has a great opportunity. Tianmogong? It's really interesting. Searching for Xia Meng Guanyu's memory, the place where he went to the trial last time, the ancient unique knowledge he obtained was heavenly demon art. Speaking of it, he had some fate with the demon sect at the beginning. It was only because of the Taoist Lu Yang that the heavenly demon gate had been flattened by the Wuxia leader, and the corpse of the 6th Order Emperor was hung on the gate of the Yuan Palace by Wuxia. Chapter 5346. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. Speaking of it, The current celestial shadow sect in the north is like a mouse crossing the street, and he doesn't dare to show his head at all. Wu's strength is very strong and cruel. The temple has to manage the 4 secret realms, while the Senate Palace has so many people in charge of only one northern realm, and soon the entire northern realm will be built into one. All the sects provide offerings every year. Who stop who will die. As long as each practitioner reaches the level of the Dayan Immortal, he must register at the entrance of the Yuanlao Palace, and those without a clear identity shall be killed. In addition, the outer palace was opened, and the emperors were forced to join. If they didn't go to the outer palace, they would have to die. And Wu will go and kill those emperors himself. In just 1,000 years, there were thousands of emperors in the northern realm of the heavens who fled. Most of them escaped from casual cultivators. The strength of the Senate Palace was too strong to resist any resistance, so they could only escape. Bai Yi's eyes were enthusiastic, and now he was ready to abdicate automatically and let the Senate Palace manage the heavens. Because of this incident, the realm has become extremely lively. Many emperors who committed crimes in the realm have fled to the realm. They don't want to be chased and killed by the palace of the elders when they control the realm. These escaping emperors from the heavens wanted to kill and loot each in the heavens. And then they came to the earth. This time the auction house has collected many good treasures and prepared for auction. It's just that these treasures are too expensive. Jian Wushuang really can't afford it. In recent years, although he has not done less to kill and sell goods, he has done very little, and now he has no more than 1 million sacred stones. In the mansion of the 9th prince, millions more were collected, and there were some treasures that needed to be sold. Money. It's not easy to earn. It was the same nourishment that I had spent in Xiao Huangcheng, earning tens of millions of treasures, which is comparable to tens of millions of sacred stones. In the past few years, he helped King Bai to restore his roots and earned a lot of treasures. These will also be considered credit, but the last time he bought information was all spent. It's gone now. Thinking about this, news came from the outside world. Your Highness, the Colosseum is here. Jian Wushuang slowly opened the door curtain on Feihu. Looking up, a huge Colosseum came into view. The Colosseum. It is a dual field opened by the royal family. As the name suggests, fighting in the imperial city is forbidden. If you want to fight life and death, you can come here. Before reaching the door, a brawny walked out of it. His Royal Highness 9. The visitor was rugged but careful, and quickly saluted respectfully. Jian Wushuang pressed his hand. His eyes were cold and arrogant, and he walked straight to the Colosseum, and the brawny man naturally followed carefully behind him. I heard that there is a good show to watch today, Jian Wushuang said lightly. The rugged and brawny man quickly replied. It's not a good show, but there is a life and death battle between 2 third-tier emperors. Lao Sanpei, your tone is very big. Jian Wushuang turned his head and stared at the rugged man in front of him with a cold gaze, and said in a low voice, When did the third-order emperor from your mouth become ordinary? Hearing this, Pei San knew that it was the 9th prince who was suppressing him, and he hurriedly bowed and said, I dare not dare to be a humble post. The younger one will never forget the great grace of His Highness 9. If it hadn't been taken by His Highness, I would have died in the chaos among back then. It really was Xia Mang Guanyu who followed his grandfather Xianyuan Depan to the chaos and saved his life, and then was taken to the capital of Daxia, where he sought an identity in the Colosseum for him. Pei San, the peak of the third-order emperor. Staying by his side is rather overkill, so he was sent here, but this one is indispensable for foreign campaigns. After the beating, Jian Wushuang didn't speak, but waved his hand. He came to the Colosseum not only for Pei San, but also to make money. How about these 2 players' handicap? Jian Wushuang asked casually. Pei San became more respectful this time and replied, There are almost 40 million sacred stones. But Pei San is a little different. He knew that Jian Wushuang came here for other purposes. He was also afraid of this, so that he would be born and die for the 9th prince, and his brows would not even be frowned. But if the rules of the Colosseum are broken, life is worse than death, and even the prince cannot change it. Don't worry, I understand the rules. Jian Wushuang gave the other side a reassurance. But there is a fifth-order emperor sitting here, giving him 10 courage, and he dare not break the rules. The 2 third-order emperors have a great reputation in the imperial capital. One is the Sword Immortal, the third-tier pinnacle of strength, known as one of the 79 swords in the capital, ranking 79. Sword Qi is near. It's the same surname as Jian Wushuang. It was him. Jian Wushuang rolled his eyes and entered the Colosseum. Only when he entered, a strand of hair fell from his head and drifted freely. Old ghost bye. I can't kill the third-order emperor instantly, so I will hand it over later. I am responsible for the source of the loss. Jian Wushuang secretly transmitted the sound. He is just a clone of the 9th prince. The deity has always been a hare, and now it falls and drifts, following the 9th prince. Thanks, don't worry. Today's White King's origin is almost restored. It is still possible to kill a third-order emperor, but the current origin is too unstable. It is okay to kill some third-order emperors. Too many origins are broken, but if you kill the 4th-order emperor, I am afraid that you will lose a lot of origins, and King Bai is not willing. It is already the limit of King Bai to let him kill a third-order emperor. The 9th prince, Xiaomeng Guanyu, followed Pei San to the door of the VIP room. When he entered, he suddenly said, "That 79 sword, I am quite interested. You take me to see, maybe he will do it today." Fallen. Although Pei San was a little embarrassed, he still took them to the dark room. "Go in and let me know, even if I want to see him. Get ready for what happened when I went on the court." Pei San said harshly. A black-clothed emperor in the dark room frowned. But when he saw the 9th prince Xiaomeng Guanyu, he bit his head and went deep. It's about to go to the stage of life and death. These crazy people sometimes don't call anyone how high their status is. However, the sword spirit was close, and he followed the black-clothed emperor out of the secret room and came to Pei San. Jian Wushuang's transformed hair also took the opportunity to follow in. Several people said a few words at random, but Xiaomeng Guanyu gave a verbal encouragement and left. After everyone left, Jianqi's brows frowned. He always felt that these people were too inexplicable, but he was about to play, and he didn't bother to care about them, and returned to the secret room to calm his mind. Just waiting for the moment the door just closed, Jian Wushuang shot instantly. The entire space is only a few battles long and wide, and all thought power and swallowing power are wrapped, and the sword energy is immediately compressed and limped to the ground. Waiting for him to resist, the phantom of King White floats out and slaps the opponent's head with a palm. At the same time, inside the VIP room of the Colosseum, Chapter 5347, Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. Jian Wushuang was talking with some princes and nobles, but after his deity succeeded, his brows were raised. "By the way, don't you plan to play?" Xiaomeng Guanyu pointed to the words on the huge plaque outside. The top shows the duel in the Colosseum today. Sword Qi Close versus Huangpu Xiongyi, a strong man in Kendo, a strong man in divine body flow. The life and death battle between the two attracted many people to watch. Several other aristocratic children with unusual identities waved their hands, and soon a young woman arrived in front of them. Impressing Huangpu Xiongyi, 50,000 sacred stone. Said it is for fun, but these people are still very generous. If you press the Wampoa bear, then I will press the sword aura. I also practice kendo. One sword can break 10,000 magic. These people talked and laughed happily, and blood was splashed on the court. Jian Wushuang watched all this and said lightly, "I am close to the sword, 2 million sacred stones, plus this innate superb sword. Wow! In addition to a mustard seed with a sacred stone, there is also a cracked bone sword, all white, with a long breath. This was the who slaughtered a monarch-level desolate beast and refined it for him. It can also be regarded as his best sword right now. The key is that this precious sword is more valuable. Superb. 2 million. Are you crazy?" It was his cousin, Xianyuan Jingxian, and his uncle's son. They had a good relationship, so they came out to persuade him. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and said, "I'm ready to go to the battlefield. These are all things outside of my body. It's useless to keep them. I will take them out today, and let everyone laugh. He cared very much about what he said, and there was a sense of vicissitudes that made everyone admire for a while. On the battlefield, Xianyuan Jingxian tilted his head and looked at Xiameng Guanyu and said in a low voice, "Go to the battlefield? Are you sure?" Jian Wushuang nodded. In the eyes of these people, Xiameng Guanyu was not the one to fight on the battlefield. Go to that battlefield. My father is now in the Southern Kingdom battlefield. If you go there, you can find my father. Xianyuan Jingxian said. Jian Wushuang shook his head, patted the other person on the shoulder and said, "Your father will be back soon. His Royal Highness, this white bone sword can mortgage 3 million sacred stones. The visitor has been replaced by Pei San, and he has given Jian Wushuang a golden token with 5 characters on it." He took the token and played a bit, and said to the dudes whose jaws were shocked, 5 characters are not good, it's too unlucky. Add another million. As he said, he threw a mustard seed to Pei San. There is almost enough inside. Pei San took a look, and it was really about the same. At least 3,000 to 5,000 sacred stones were missing. But he was not good because of this. So he could only bite the bullet and exchange a token for Jian Wushuang. The 6 characters are a bit smoother. It is a total of 6 million. If he loses, he can't hear the sound. But if he wins, according to the probability of one losing 3, he can get 18 million sacred stones. In addition, 2 million sacred stones and a supreme treasure sacred sword were pressed. He is also eligible to go to that auction house. That auction house is a superpower. This time it is a top auction held in Daxia, and there will be a special 6th order emperor to sit here. It's really not something ordinary people can get in. The ticket is not the identity, but the sacred stone on the body. Every 20 million yuan cannot get in. And many of the treasures auctioned this time, many of them are treasures specially used by the heavens. Even some tier 6 bosses will come. His identity as the Prince of Daxia was not enough to go there. Even if it was the Emperor of Daxia, he would not be considered a big man. Unless Daxia's ancestors go. Every 6th order emperor has the supreme majesty. Only the 6th order emperor would be a guest there. Secret room. Jian Wushuang, who had turned into a sword-like energy, slowly walked out of it. In almost a quarter of an hour, he looked carefully at the memory of Jian Qi's proximity. Wampoa Xiongyi, a strong divine body, 16,700 times the divine body. To be honest, very weak. King White was once a body stream, more than 60,000 times. This is the real powerhouse. Only more than 10,000 times. If you really start, you can solve the opponent in a quarter of an hour. But in order to prevent others from noticing the changes in Jian Qi, he was still prepared to act like a little bit, preparing to use his origin to kill the opponent. This will only be said to be the weakness of the divine body genre, which reflects the strength of the source. But seeing so many people oppressing Huangpu Xiongyi, the strength of Jianqi is really not good. Said it is the 3rd order peak. I am afraid that compared with the outside emperor, it is not as strong as the 2nd order emperor, and it is too weak. It is much weaker than the 3rd order emperor of the heavens. It seems that in this imperial city, there are still some imaginary powerhouses. Touching the mustard seed in his hand, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. Except for a divine sword, there was nothing, not even a divine stone. The same goes for the other mustard seeds, except for an extra token. 12. Golden token, a striking 12 at the top. It actually weighed 12 million sacred stones. Jian Wushuang hadn't been dazzled by the Shenshi yet. He didn't see that he won in the memory of Jian Qi's near. How so? King Bai was one, and what Jian Wushuang saw, he naturally saw it. It's not surprising that part of his memory should have been carried out in a certain treasure. It is normal if you can't see it. King Bai reminded. Jian Wushuang was even more puzzled. A 3rd order emperor, worth 1 million is not bad. His 12 million. Is there anything hidden in it? Check. It must be checked. It is not an ordinary person to be able to make up 12 million. It is estimated that the 4th order emperor will help. But how can he be so confident that he can definitely win? There are 5 tier emperors in the Colosseum, who will personally test the strength of the two. Finally, the odds are given. Could it be that? Jian Wushuang thought of a little. There must be someone behind it. He can be cloned, and so can everyone else. It's just a bit difficult to hide from the Fifth Order Emperor. Old Go spy, inform Xinyuan Depan, and let him personally check the origin of this sword qi. Regardless of whether it is found or not, this time he will earn blood. After winning, there are 36 million sacred stones just near here with Jianqi. With the addition of Xiaomeng Guanyu's place, it would have passed the 50 million mark. The ordinary Fourth Order Emperor. I am afraid that it is worth this. Of course, it is only the poorest. The gap between the Fourth Order Emperor and the Third Order Emperor is very large. Some secret realms or relics require the Fourth Order Emperor to enter. In those opportunities, even the worst receipts can get millions of sacred stones. Chapter 5348. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The Third Order Emperor won't do it. It's not enough to go in, some can't go in, and can only go to the general secret realm, but where there is at most millions of sacred stones at a time. But the people who got the life are some powerful people with strange treasures. Usually these third-tier emperors can receive hundreds of thousands of sacred stones at one time. The worth is between millions, and the more are millions. Jian Wushuang's strength wasn't that Jian Wushuang looked down on him. 2 million would be pretty good. 12 million came from there. It seems that this life and death battle is simpler than he imagined. Since the people behind him dare to bet like this, it shows that he has absolute confidence in him. Before he even played, King Bai received news from Xinyuan Depan. The sword is near. Recently, I have hosted a lot of Third Order Emperors. Among them they are uneven. I haven't found any too private talks with other emperors. Jian Wushuang raised his brows. It seemed that he was trying to confuse others. I can't manage that much when I'm on the court soon, so I can exchange for the stone when I win and run away immediately. Since they are all Tier 3 emperors, and Tier 4 at most, in the Imperial City, the opponent dare not act rashly. Inside the Colosseum, the audience in all quarters was full of people, at least hundreds of millions of practitioners. To go in and watch, like this kind of life and death battle between emperors and monarchs, the ticket will cost 10 stones. Counting this down, the Colosseum made 1 billion this time. And there is a rule in the Colosseum. As long as they are willing to enter the arena, the Taoist will reward 100,000 to 1 million sacred stones, and the emperor will reward 100,000 to 100 million sacred stones. But this has to be won before it can be given. This point Jian Wushuang knew that if he won, it would be possible to charge another 10 million yuan in appearance fees, with his sword-like reputation. Compared with these, the Colosseum still earns more. 1 billion at a time. In addition to the venue and some labor costs, the royal family can make at least 800 million. The Fifth Order Emperor who sits here is the elder of the ancestral temple, the senior in the clan, and the powerhouse of the Xiaomeng clan. He is stationed here for a long time, and he will also draw a part of the sacred stone he earned in each game. After all, it is a Fifth Order Emperor. If you go out and wander around, you will probably get more divine stones. But there is no danger here, and it is a good job. Standing at the highest point, Jian Wushuang held a sword in one hand and leaped heavily towards the ring. His appearance made countless people cheer. Some of them were calling his name, apparently weighing his wealth on his body. In this imperial city, there are still many gamblers. In the Colosseum, in addition to volunteers to participate in the war, more slaves or prisoners of war collected from the battlefield. Let them fight here. If you win 100 games, you will get only one. But if you lose, you will fall. These people's fights were more bloody, but their strength was generally weak. Most of the people who can be captured are Taoists or some Earth immortals. For a super dynasty like De Xia, the lowest threshold for conscription is generally Earth immortals. The real army of cultivators is overwhelming, not necessarily all emperors and lords, and more of them are heaven and earth. These monks were all cannon fodder, either fell on the battlefield, or were caught in large numbers. After all, it is the top-level combat power that determines the victory, and the top level collapses. And no matter how good it is, it will lose. In this case, why spend so many sacred stones to cultivate an army of cultivators? Just let the two ancestors fight a fight, King White said lightly. It's not that simple. The bottom layer is fighting for air luck. If the bottom layer loses, then the upper level is likely to lose under the same combat power. The origin of the Emperor's space is to store air luck. Most powerful people must follow this rule. Of course, you don't need to follow this ultimate way, and you still have that special way. I think the above is not only unlucky, but has evil aura, the opposite power of air luck. Hearing these words, Jian Wushuang leaked murderous intentions in his heart. This King White is most familiar with him. His origin is now only known to King White, not even the god. At the beginning he made an oath, although there was also an oath not to disclose their respective information. But he was still worried, in case this old guy was about to die that day. Shaking his affairs out, it was not good. Only the dead can control his mouth. I'm afraid King White thinks so too. Although the two are one body, each is pregnant. After he played, Huangpu Xiong held a bluestone long stick in one hand and jumped down from above, looking at Jian Wushuang with a sullen expression on his face. A majestic voice sounded from above. Start! The speaker was the Fifth Order Emperor. According to seniority, Xia Meng Guanyu had to call the other uncle, and even the current emperor would call the other uncle. Accompanied by a more enthusiastic shout, the Wampoa bear took action first. Sure enough, just as Jian Wushuang had imagined, as soon as the opponent moved his hands, he saw the strangeness. The two fight, the thunder is loud, the rain is small. It's completely for outsiders. It's just this point, Jian Wushuang thought it was too funny, but there was a Fifth Order Emperor watching him. Although the Emperor won't pay attention to these anyway, the tickets are earned, but if the two don't fight, it will affect the reputation of the Colosseum, and neither of them will escape death. Boom. Fine through Chonghong. This is the signature uniqueness of Jian Qi. The breath is like a rainbow, and the power is unlimited. I don't know what Huangpu Xiong thinks. He wouldn't think that the fake fight would end there. This sword is a sneak attack. As soon as Huangpu Xiong didn't react, he stabbed another sword with his backhand, pointing straight at the center of the opponent's eyebrows. This sword contained the ultimate meaning, surpassing Huangpu Xiongjia's expectation, and directly injured him seriously. As soon as Huangpu Xiong stepped back, he touched his eyebrows with one hand. Angrily surged in his heart, but he didn't dare to speak. This is different from what he discussed with Jian Qi. But now that people have changed, who will care about these? Recalling that 10 years ago, Huangpu Xiong began planning this matter as soon as he approached Jianqi. Jianqi has a wife who is born with a natural ice body physique. He needs to drink fire fruit wine for many years. Fortunately, fire fruit wine is not precious. As a Third Order Emperor, he doesn't care about it at all. However, 1,000 years ago, the wife who was close to the sword suddenly changed her physique, changing from the ice body to the Wuji divine body, one of the 10 ancient divine bodies. Regardless of whether it is ice soul or Hua soul, once it becomes the promised divine body, it will accelerate toward extreme changes. It used to be ice soul, but now it is cold shadow. Thousands of years have strengthened its physique 10,000 times. His wife was an ordinary Taoist monarch, but now she can rival the emperor. It is said that this physique will attract the attention of some large sects, and maybe his wife will be recruited. But who would think that the cold power in his wife's body has condensed into crystals, which has destroyed her physique? If it is allowed to develop, it will eventually become an icy body. If you really want to take refuge in the big sect, you are also serving as a wedding dress for others. Chapter 5349. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign, a complete special divine body. This is a great tonic. It can even be grafted onto other practitioners. So Jian Qi was nearly afraid to be exposed. This exists in Jian Kaijin's memory, so Jian Wushuang also knows it. Originally thought that Jian Qi was cheating and swindling money, so he could find some fire treasures for treatment for his wife. Looking at Huangpu Xianjia's expression now, he might be wrong. It's too difficult to make a game in the Colosseum. If he guessed right, it should be that Jianqi nearly agreed to Huangpu Xiongyi, that he would take the initiative to lose to the other party. But Huangpu Xiongyi would distribute the winnings to his wife, which would also extend his wife's lifespan. At that time, these scenes were probably so tearful. Then Huangpu Xiongyi really believed it. It now appears to be fooled. In fact, their guesses are not accurate. Jianqi Jin made two-handed preparations. If he wins desperately, it would be great. If he loses, his wife can extend his life, so he will go down to lead his wife. Despicable! Wampoa Xiong shouted angrily. He had long been worried about Jianqi Jin's insidious tricks, so he came personally. He was much stronger than Jianqi Jin, and the odds were naturally much lower. But if you find someone who is weaker than Jianqi Jin, I'm afraid Jianqi Jin will go back. Now that he is injured, he is really hard to say to the crazy Jianqi. Jian Wushuang had a flash of light in his eyes. The divine sword was erected between his brows, his eyes fixed on Huangpu Xiongyi. This is the best time. Sword chi is nearly unacceptable, and 1,000 swords come out in one go. No wonder he didn't have any pill treasures in his mustard seeds. I am afraid that countless auras have already been stored in his body. But he killed the opponent too fast at that time, and he did not notice. Now, he can help the other party realize their dreams. Not only will Jianqi be able to win this life and death battle, but he will also take good care of his wife. Wan Jian. On the ring, Jianqi approached his legs slightly, and his feet stood steadily on the spot. But behind him was a floating sword shadow. This sword represents the world's 10,000 swords, and Jian Wushuang's momentum is a bit novel. I didn't know it at first, but when he started out, I realized that this genius is really good. At least let the strength of Jianqi reach the peak level. I underestimated it. Jian Wushuang's eyes condensed, and he burst out instantly. In this 10,000 aura, there is also the power of all things. He and the Third Order Emperor still need to rely on the power of all things to kill each other. Wan Dao Jianqi, combined with the power of all things, exerted a terrifying combat power far beyond Jian Wushuang's expectations. Huangpu Xiongyi was also frightened by this battle, and immediately resorted to his utmost knowledge. His figure turned into 1,000 battles, and he wanted to rely on the divine body to break through the 10,000 auras. But the power of all things in it, let alone a Third Order Emperor, even a Fourth Order Emperor is very jealous. Boom, boom, boom. 3 bursts, causing a sensation among hundreds of millions of people. Once the 10,000 strength Huangpu bear was pierced by Wan Jian, he fell directly to the ground. He never expected that his sword aura would be so strong in the near future. The Fifth Order Emperor who overlooked below also leaked a surprised look. He didn't expect that he would take a look at it, and this sword aura would actually be so strong. He didn't know that, in fact, his prediction was correct at the beginning. It was only when Jianqi was ready to condense that group of qi, and the strength would be so powerful. But the bigger reason was the power of all things injected by Jian Wushuang. That was truly terrifying. As long as it was born from all things in this world, he could be able to transform. This is true even for special lives. Unless you are not born of the heavens and the earth, nor are you transformed by all things in the starry sky, you can ignore it. As soon as the Huangpu bear fell, because it was a genre of the body, it was not bad to leave a corpse. At this time, there was a rumbling in the sky, and the Fifth Order Emperor personally walked off the arena, floating above the arena, only to silence the countless audience in the arena in an instant. After scanning a circle, the Fifth Order Emperor said in a low voice, "Sword Chi is nearly winning." After speaking, he disappeared in the field, and those who were close to the sword's energy broke out a sensation in the entire field. Sword Chi is near. 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 At this moment, Jianqi Jin is the protagonist here. Jian Wushuang waved the divine sword in his hand, and then slowly walked off the ring. VIP room. Also shout another person's name. Xiaomeng Guanyu. Cousin, you have to give Firefox Palace today, and you have to kill you. Xiaomeng Guanyu took the mustard seeds sent by Pei San, waved his arm, and said loudly, "Go." A group of dudes followed Jian Wushuang and left the VIP room. In addition to these people, there are still a lot of people who have squeezed their sword spirits, and many have made small fortunes, but these can't afford Firefox Palace. But other low-end brothels may be full today. Looking at the people who were going to exchange the sacred stone, Jian Qi left the Colosseum from the side door. Beside a remote street, the mustard seeds containing more than 30 million sacred stones were handed to Xiaomeng Guanyu. Then the two exchanged. Xiaomeng Guanyu became the deity, and Jian Qijin was a clone. That infinite divine body is very enthusiastic about King Bai, so he will naturally not let it go. The deity Xiaomeng Guanyu took a group of people to the Firefox Palace to relax, while the clone Jinqi approached to the hiding place of his wife. After all, it is the promised divine body. If this physique is discovered, I am afraid it will be swallowed alive by some old guys. Nanqing, a place where fish and dragons are mixed. There are strong people everywhere, and there are even some wanted people. Jian Qi was sitting on top of ordinary Feihu and reached a small green courtyard. There was a simple formation outside, and the scene inside could not be seen at all. A finger pointed out, the formation waved, and then a door leaked out. Jian Wushuang pushed the door and entered, and what he saw was the same as Jian Qi's memory. Green vegetation fills the entire small courtyard full of greenery. Moreover, there is a round of sun in the small courtyard, exuding a strong high temperature, and ordinary people can't stand it at all. As soon as he entered the small courtyard, he saw the wife in his memory. What is slightly different from the memory is the breath of the wife who is close to the sword. It's cold like an ice beauty. This kind of natural breath made the people in front of them more charming, even more attractive than those fox girls. She has a graceful figure and blue eyes, which is very beautiful. Come back. The voice was cold and there was no smoke, but there was a coquettishness in that voice. No wonder Jinqi Jinhui gambled even for her life. Once upon a time he did the same. She couldn't help but leak a gentle smile, walked to the young woman, raised her hand to help her strand the ends of her hair, and whispered back, "I'm back. Are you still leaving? Don't go." After saying this, the beautiful woman in front of her softly pressed Jian Wushuang's chest. For a while she didn't know whether she was holding her or letting go. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.